All right. Man, if I don't ever stop giving myself bad luck. Anyway, welcome to the RantCast. I'm your host, Josh, also known as the Strange Bus. You can catch me. Oh wow, we're reversed this time. You can catch me here. I'm also joined by my co-host, Kurgan, also known as HeroQuest Fans. And you can catch him at twitch.tv/HeroQuest Fans. That's twitch.tv/HeroQuest Fans. He also has a YouTube channel, and that's XSC3, home of HeroQuest Fans on YouTube. We're going to be doing a couple things today. It's actually kind of a jam-packed evening. Spooky evening. Episode 11. Ghoulish quest packs. Creepy stories with snacks. And the terror of Disney Amazon's never-ending sugar rush attacks.
Jason J, welcome to the RantCast. Jason J 22.
You're going to be enjoying your spook-filled nightmares. And then coming out of those spook-filled nightmares, realizing they're real. Anyway, we're also joined by another special guest who's going to be talking with us and Kurgan during the HeroQuest Power Hour.
Yeah.
It is with my great pleasure to introduce Elviler, who's also going to be bringing us into this segment as soon as I can get myself together. Let me go ahead and bring him on the line.
I like him.
And make sure that my mic is working and everything, because I've had nothing but system issues today. Alright. Viler, can you hear me? He can hear me, but I cannot hear him. What a day. Okay, how about now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Welcome aboard the RantCast. So I'm going to hand my scrap over to Kurgan. Reason I wanted to bring you on to this episode here today is I was talking to you earlier this morning about the quest pack, name revealed, Rise of the Dread Moon, and I was looking up stuff for Kurgan for our podcast this morning, and realized that I should probably start educating myself a little bit more into HeroQuest. Is it?
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing that we're lowering it. But
RantCast.
I was looking into the quest packs for HeroQuest, and
now?
literally your name came up first.
Yeah.
So I thought, what better way than to get in contact with you and to, kind of get the show on the road.
Well, that's good. I'm finally ranking on Google.
Yeah, you were what, the first or third pick for this? So
I just type really fast.
yeah.
Yeah, this is great because
Now
we've had Elviler on our show, but haven't gotten an interview, so this is good.
Also late welcoming to Lord Carmine. Welcome. I'm tired. It's been a long day, but I'm here.
So many more rants to get through, though.
Yeah, indeed. So a couple questions, because I'm going to be joining Kurgan. I know Kurgan talked about this. Was it last week? We're kind of pulling that.
Yeah, so I did my own show where I talked about it, and I'm sure we said a few things about it, but it'd be nice to get through a little bit of in-depth, do some back and forth, and if Lord Carmine is going to hang around and quash any rumors that we get wrong.
Indeed.
That'd be super sweet. So,
That's all it is now, is rumor.
got that speculation.
Yeah, except for the name.
So let's go ahead and we'll kind of continue here.
Now, I can't hear him talking. Is he going to be?
Well, I got some headphones. You want to do a splitter?
Sure.
Yeah. We can do that. As I'm pulling up the first question, I'll answer the first question, and I'll grab a splitter
Otherwise,
here.
I feel like I'm going to be like an interpreter.
We're rolling a new setup. I actually got the RantCast going on my main computer, and I was really excited. I spent all day redesigning everything through Streamlabs, and it was kind of it was a fun project. But I also did it during work, and I've had no sleep. So you kind of go through that dredge of doing something so fun that you kind of forget to lay down. And I'm kind of feeling it now, getting my ass kicked. So a couple questions, Elvira, and then I'll go ahead and grab some splitter headphones.
Sure.
So credit to elvira.com. This is where we're getting our sources from. Now, this is an older article, October 4th. Rise of the Dread Moon, confirmed title by our yours truly, Lord and Carmine. Now, please, so I don't get this wrong, what exactly does he do?
I wrote it down. His official title.
On here? On the paper?
Yeah, it should be.
I don't see it on the paper.
Oh, I can't see that.
I'm blind.
Here, let me.
I'm literally blind. But we had it confirmed by Lauren Carmine that we had this title here, and we're kind of taking a look at this article now. I've been reading this over, about 2 or 3 times, and...
Well, you just wrote down Avalon Hill Senior Rep.
Yeah, because that's what I got from...
I had his official title.
But
it's like...
this was created by Craig Von Ness.
Senior Development Lead.
Is that correct? That's Craig Von Ness, right? I'm getting that right?
Yeah, they called him Shoulder Man, Shoulder Guy. Because over his shoulder was the secret picture.
But, and my big question here is Craig Von Ness involved in any other projects with Avalon Hill? Or did we lose you? Hello? Elvira, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Yep.
Okay.
That I'm not sure of. I don't know too much of the inner workings there.
Well, and the reason I asked is because the artwork seems very familiar. And
yeah. So the first post or the first clue that we got about it was a post in the Avalon Hill Discord, and it was a screenshot from.
Yeah, I would have assumed it's all the same people.
Yeah, it was the screenshot that we got from the previous PulseCon that had a clue for the Frozen Horror quest pack, which was the first one that was released.
Okay.
So the picture here is basically the same image, but with the artwork on the front of the box was changed.
We have to split.
Oh, oops. Sorry.
Silly dude.
There you
go. Other one dude. It's going to be my day today, I think. I swear to God. It's been 12 hours. I can't hear anything. Sorry, Elvira. We're still having technical difficulties.
Happens. I work in IT. I know the pain.
Literally spent 12 hours setting all this up, and I'm still having trouble.
Glad you're here.
So, Carmine mentions the fact that Craig is a product designer on Heroescape and Risk Shadow Forces.
Oh, yeah.
Familiar with Risk, not very familiar with Heroescape, so that could be where I caught him from. For some reason, one of my friends mentioned like comics, like Dark Horse comics, and I didn't know why. It's like it didn't ring a bell, but I wanted to make sure. So that was kind of like my first major question. So, and this picture was captured by, pardon me if I get this wrong, Udoxio? Is that right?
Yep.
He's popped up in
Good guy.
in your channel quite a few times.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an upscaled image.
Yeah, it looks like you ran it through some kind of software that tries to extrapolate missing information from the image.
And
Fancy CSI stuff.
who could this hero be? Speculation has begun. I'm kind of on the same fence as you. So just to kind of simplify here, we have what appears to be a Guardian Knight. I was taking a look at it here, and I think that you kind of made a good question here, is whether or not it'd be male or female. And I would like if they started releasing unisex pieces, because I think it would be better in the long run. Because didn't we make a couple of topics on that a couple rantcasts ago in regards to male and female elves or something like that with the upcoming quest pack?
I don't remember us really talking about that. The pattern that they've started...
It's stuff that I keep marked down in my book here.
Oh, yeah. Well, what they've done so far is, they would give us like a male and female version of each character, either in the same box or like later on. So, yeah, if they give us the knight and it's just a full encasing helmet, big bulky armor, I mean, it could be anybody under there, right?
Yeah, you can pick whatever you want.
And the rules, the suggested rules with all these characters is you're not going to have two of the same character anyway, so it's just going to be one knight.
I'm blurring my blur. Well, I thought it was kind of neat.
It's pretty funny.
Because if it's not something relatively practiced, then, I think it kind of helps everybody.
You want to hear my theory? Not to jump in, but...
Go ahead, man.
You could just shoot it down. Because the thing is, and I love this, actually, what you guys have been doing, speaking to Avalon Hill now, is like we have expectations and then there's always a surprise. There's always a curveball. It's never quite exactly what we were expecting. So with the Frozen Horror, nobody knew about the extra dice or pads or anything. With the elf pack, nobody knew about the extra furniture or the male elf, although a lot of us hoped that would be there. But if this is, in fact, what we're thinking it might be, then that sort of implies the template is going to be filled again. So it would be, if it's a knight quest pack, 10 quests, 3 solo quests maybe. But then I was thinking, well, but the knight is more like a support character. So would he like rescue somebody on the quest that he'd have to protect with his shield and protect against wandering monsters and all that? So maybe it would be slightly different. And then have group quests for the rest of the quests, and then the last 2 is like a double quest, and you get the extra tiles, spells, treasures, monsters, and then I guess there'd be extra alchemist shop potions that only the knight could use, presumably. Or would he have extra skills, like he could swap out the 3 skills he's got for some different ones instead of having extra spells? That'd be an interesting way to do it, but that's pure speculation, but that's based on our assumptions, based on the Frozen Horror, the Mage of the Mirror. And then if this is going to be sort of the precedent, then that sort of implies there's going to be a rogue quest pack as well. Like each hero has their own pack with their own like special... Sorry, I'll try not to unplug that. Their own special potions, their own special like accoutrements, equipment and everything. Like, is that what we should be expecting here? Or is it something completely different and we are just on the wrong track?
That may be the case, but I'm also thinking, too, that maybe having a knight quest pack is kind of like a response to the kickback that they've got for the issues regarding the Guardian Knight hero collection pack.
But maybe more so
possible,
than what...
But I don't know.
Sorry, yeah, but more so than just saying, oh, I wanted to order the little figure and I couldn't get it, and now I'm going to get it in this box. It's like, no, you want the knight? Well, here's like a whole glimpse into his world, a whole bunch of extra stuff on top, like a well-packaged apology, get people back in. I'd be okay with that. I think a lot of people would.
And I don't think it's going to be something that will replace the Guardian Knight hero, standalone hero. Like I think if it has skill cards, they'll be different than the ones that we got in the Guardian Knight the Guardian Knight pack.
Rather than just slightly different artwork to avoid
Right.
it. Yeah. Well, that could
because
always be the lieutenant.
I don't know. It's difficult. It's difficult to please everybody.
Yeah.
Because if you put in the exact same same cards as a pack that's already been released, people are going to complain they've already got those ones. If they put in new ones, and the people that weren't able to get the other one are going to complain that they're not able to get the ones that were already released. So you're always going to have somebody who complains.
But I mean,
human nature.
It kind of makes me think of, like, I don't know if this is my impression of, like, Lucasfilm before Disney was, it's like, well, we said it was limited edition, but we meant the packaging, not the content. Like, the box is a collector's item. It's like, God dang it.
How long till HeroQuest goes back in the Avalon Hill vault?
Yeah, Disney vault. Well, I mean, as a quasi collector of HeroQuest, I mean, I don't have the money to really collect everything. Amalgamash calling you out there, but it's like, if I mean, I have no problem. Like, it doesn't bother me at all that, like, the other stuff would go into retail. Like, I don't care. I would be glad if everybody got the Mythic stuff. But you think there's people out there that'll be angry, like, oh man, I spent $150 on this, and now you're going to get it for $200. That's not fair. Like, are there really people like that out there, do you think? A lot of them that they need to be worried?
I don't think it's something to be worried about.
Yeah, I'd be psyched for something like this. Another reason I dove into this is because he's talking about new types of enemies, possibly. Because we have confirmation, and like I said, I don't know if you're still here, Lord and Carmine, but this is an all new quest pack, right?
Yeah,
like this hasn't been done by
remake of anything,
any remake before. So, speculation on enemies. I would really dig a spooky quest pack.
Spooky quest pack.
Vampires and
spies, alien beings.
Yeah,
I mean. Well,
I don't know about that.
The box suggests a lot of things, but the thing is, though, I mean, since they're not tied to Games Workshop anymore, and because it's an original creation, I mean, unless they go like all Disney on us and just give us like stuff from the vaults all mixed together, it could be anything. It could be whatever they want. It doesn't have to be Ratmen and dragons and Beastmen and I don't know, whatever else. But yeah, I mean, they're recreating the lore. I mean, I was trying to think, like, if we drew a map of the HeroQuest world now, like, we would only have a couple of dots. We wouldn't know what's there. Hey, Ribby. Werewolf
what's going on?
model. Yeah. Well, yeah, they could, I mean, in keeping with the theme of, like, the universal monsters, we've got mummies, zombies. Vampires are part of the previous HeroQuest lore, so that could fit in. Werewolves are in the ElfQuest pack already. We've got ogres. Trolls are part of the back, backstory, whatever. We got knights. Ghosts were introduced in the what's it called? Spirit Queen's Torment. So you've got orc ghosts and stuff. Of course, you don't fight them. They're just like in cutscenes and things. How would you fight a ghost? Do you have to enter the spirit realm? Is
there a certain weapon you have to pick up?
Yeah, like a proton pack.
Well,
that would be a nice tie-in. See here, you start getting that cross promotion. You get the HeroScape crossover. You get the Ghostbusters crossover. We're gonna have HeroQuest Funko Pops. Anything can happen, right?
Nice.
I'm just saying, like, the sky's the limit. We don't know what it could be, and see, here's where Lord and Carmen is probably just like, yes, I've just got you guys on the hook. I can just like sprinkle a little breadcrumb, and then we'll just like, scramble to try to figure out what it is. I mean,
the fact that from what I read here, the fact that you guys did what you did to just grab the title,
they're really
determination enough.
Yeah.
So I
Red
I mean,
Man will come too soon.
you know, if what I remember reading on this, it was this was
Guessing game.
right here. It was pretty much
I spent a good portion of
you
my
guys
stream just
stopped
guessing.
at the 44 mark and just there's like a part of that missing.
It's all the big scavenger hunt. And I mean, I'll admit, I've enjoyed it. Usually other people just come up with the stuff before I do and I just report on it, but still, it's a lot of fun trying to figure it out.
He is the wandering monster that laughs at you. It disappeared.
Uller's ghost. Yeah, that's true. Even back in the game system. Yeah, but you didn't fight him; he would just appear and disappear.
Yeah, here's the big one here is that it makes it fun, right? You just sit there and you
there is a spirit of vengeance that appears in some of the other expansions, like the European Wizards of Morcar. There's a spirit of vengeance that attacks you and then disappears, and you could say that there's the genie that attacks you and disappears. So, I mean, it's already in the lore, so to speak. But yeah, would you have like a transparent miniature that you'd set down on the board and actually like roll dice to like fight it? That could be interesting.
Yes, would be interesting. I know we've had unique monsters before where they can only be damaged by certain things, like the Witch Lord and the Spirit Blade.
Yep, in the Japanese quest pack, the evil god had he had to use the combination of weapons to kill him. So yeah, it's definitely there.
So, just another quick question here. Nothing has really been updated on this since this article, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't found any new information, and I'm too busy to update anyways.
Well, tomorrow is a Friday, so anything's possible, right?
Yeah.
I saw they updated the companion app, but I didn't notice anything, so it might have just been a bug fix.
Yeah, I heard about that. I haven't actually looked at it yet, though.
Actually happened on the 11th. I was surprised. Like, gee, nobody said anything. Usually, so I guess people are distracted or whatever.
So, our release date is still technically unknown, but that's probably to be expected because we have 2 other quest packs in the wings right now. You've got the Rogue Heir of Elthorn, which is currently shipping.
Yeah, it's
places.
It's right back there.
Yeah, I thought I saw something in the background.
And then Mage of the Mirror, which is currently up for pre-order.
Yep.
Yeah, should be available February, I think.
Yeah, and people are speculating that Amazon got in trouble for shipping their stuff early, but does that mean like people are going to look for the one retailer that's like, "Oops, we sent them out a couple of weeks early"? It's like someone's in trouble.
Somebody's being awful quiet back there.
But yeah, as far as fans go, you want the product, so you order it from where you think you're going to get it the quickest, I guess, without paying through the nose for it. The funny thing is, there's people that are willing to. It's like, oh yeah, you ship it to Canada, and then I'll get it by way of Australia, and I'll pay the shipping. It's like, what? Just wait for it to come out in your own country, dude. Like, I'm sure it's coming. So,
but they want to have it now.
Yeah, they want to have it now. Right. So, yeah. I'm sure Hasbro's aware of that.
Here yet?
Yeah. Up north.
So, is it just done in like segments then? Or is there a planned release date for it to be shipped out? Or how does that work?
Elviler, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they say the Mage of the Mirror that was the global release date, or did they just say release date?
That I'm not sure. I think on the Pulse website it just says expected shipping February 1st. So
but you choose your country. That's what you do. When you go to the page, you choose your country. Right. So I always click United States, but if you click one of the other countries, would you get a different date?
That I'm not sure. I usually click on United States too because they don't have Canada as an option.
Whoa.
Just
feel a little left out there.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Okay. So
we're used to it.
51st state, right? Not to get all political.
Yeah, so this was pretty much something that I took interest. Now, yeah, I'm probably a little rough on the interview, probably because I'm all burnt out. But Are we expecting, and this is just, like I said, this is just pure speculation off the top of your head, are we probably expecting any more after this? Was there any, like,
I'm expecting stuff.
pure announcements that they were just going to keep doing this? Or
they haven't said, that's the thing. There have been no other statements. I mean, they've said several times, we own all of it. We have.
Right.
Implying that if it's profitable for them to do so, they would release that other stuff. But there've been no like official. But it's like, why would they bother saying that? Why not just say, well, yep, I hope you enjoy the final release of HeroQuest. This is the last one, and then it's just going to be in stock forever. So the speculation is, okay, if these keep doing well, I guess they'll just keep making them. And naturally, they would want to do the legacy products that are left, at least the 2 European packs, Against the Ogre Horde, Wizards of Morcar, and then the unreleased packs, the Dwarf and the Wizard Quest packs. But I mean, if this is the Night Quest pack, well, people are going to ask, where's the Rogue Quest pack, you know? Or is he going to be shoehorned into the Elf pack somehow? Because he's an elf. And I mean, his little story card, which is in the box there, I mean, mentions Sinestra and Varandiel and Torellia and all that. So it's almost like he's being sequestered in there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, technically, the Rogue Heir is a member of the royal family, right?
Yeah. The
so
little elf girl that you have to save is his sister.
Yeah.
Or her sister, depending on which one you
So
pick.
it is possible, because we haven't seen anything inside the quest book yet. It is possible that this character makes its way into the.
If you have the rogue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that would be like on the solo quest. Like if the elf dies, the rogue takes over or something.
Or well, it doesn't even have to be if you have the rogue. They could, like if the rogue is, I guess to use video game terms, an NPC, then you could use a token or something like that.
Oh yeah. If you don't, I see what you're saying. If you don't actually have him, but yeah, because that's the trick, isn't it? They can only assume that you own the game system,
right.
Plus at least the expansion you're playing. They can't assume that you own all of them. And if they require that, then people are going to get mad and say, "Oh, that's greedy. You're assuming everybody has to buy everything."
You assume too much.
Although I would like to see some expansion packs that do require other expansion packs, because then it opens up the doors for using assets from those other ones as well.
Well, they kind of did, but the pattern seems to be, with the alchemist shop, they say, we realize there's only one potion here that the other heroes can use, because you got the 3 for the named, the star, and only one. But it's like, if you have the other ones, go ahead and use those. But mostly they've just been duplicating the assets. So it's like, if you need the trapdoor, well, the Frozen Horde has its own trap, or Mage of the Mirror has its own trapdoors. Or I guess I think it was just a screw up. The Ogre Horde the Ogre Horde has the Pits of Darkness, but then Wizards of Morcar also has them, but it doesn't actually have the tiles. But that could have just been a screw up. Yeah, usually they'll just print that one out that you happen to need. Because every fan is going to do it their own way. It's like, I'm just going to throw all the tiles from everything in one big pile, and you're going to fight all the monsters.
Yep.
So, and once again, I'm like I said, this is all relatively new to me. This is probably the first time I actually dove in, and it's
well, that's cool though. No, but think of all the people in our audience though that are here are fairly new to this sort of thing too. Like, it's a new product, HeroQuest, it's out there. Yeah, they know that there's like us hardcore like people that are coming out of the woodwork to talk about it, but you guys are interested in this. Like, what's the average customer going to say when they see it on the store shelf and be like, what is this? This is a game. Okay. Is this part of Dungeons and Dragons? What is this? So, I mean.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what I used to think it was. And that's probably what kept me away from it for so long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or if you see it as, this is the junior game, this is the kids game, then we'll just Dungeons and Dragons, Satan's game. Look, the Dead Hill Wise Watchtower. Look, brings you. Sorry, old meme. Thanks, Ribby.
But
it's not actually Satan's game.
No.
He's a poker guy.
Do we usually get like 1 to 3 quest packs released so close together, or is this just some like?
Well, I mean, it's all thrown off because if you think about it, we got the game system, Keller's Keep, and Return of the Witch Lord all at one, all in the first year. But those other two
that
packs,
didn't happen with the original release, right?
No, they actually did. In Europe, they all came out the same. In North America, no, it was staggered out a year.
Okay.
So, I was surprised to look back at the history. It's like, wait a minute, 1989, they got the original game, they got the 2 expansions, they got Advanced HeroQuest, all in that same first year. It must have been crazy. But yeah, it's like, on the other hand, as was stated by several people, the first 2 expansions just have extras of the same miniatures in the original box. So you've got more orcs, more skeletons, or whatever. So yeah, they had to print the tiles, but it's not like they had to mold, sculpt new stuff like they had for these other packs. So these other packs are more work. It's probably more cost.
So it's not just this one that's new. Is the other two relatively new then too?
Well, let's see. So in the first year, we got those 3, and then 2022, we get the Frozen Horror, and we get the Rogue Arabella Thorn. The Guardian Knight actually was released at the end of last year, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
That was a little bit before Frozen Horror, right?
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people's orders were delayed quite a bit because they underestimated the stock. But yeah, but it was like supposed to be a November release. I think people got it in December, and then other people had to wait until like April.
Pre-orders went up November 15th last year.
See, I get gooped up in my mind. I think about like what's the official release date, and it gets thrown off because the funny thing is by the time they announced the official release date of the Frozen Horror, like people had it already. It was like it's coming out August 1st. It's like, yeah, but people have had it since July.
Yep.
Or people that knew that, I'll just place my order and just it's here. Like what? It's like you click the button on Amazon and then you suddenly hear a knock at the door. It's like, what?
Well, I saw it on the shelf at GameStop before the release date.
Stop. Yeah.
Somebody must have taken it out of the package early.
Yeah.
Someone was excited.
Yeah. Well, so Rise of the Dread Moon. I mean, I'm excited about it, but I guess it's kind of like anything else. Like some people have like bashed Wizards of Morkar. They said, it wasn't a very good quest pack. It's too hard. People bashed Frozen Horror and Mage of the Mirror when they originally came out in 92, saying, these were not play tested. But everybody wanted them because of the assets. Like they got the cool tiles, they got the cool miniatures, and now you can just use this to create your own stuff. Just more fodder for your own creativity. So it'll have that going for it at least.
So
I had Frozen Horror way back then, and I never played the actual quests. I only played with the miniatures.
That story is so familiar. Like a lot of people have said that.
For the miniatures, the design.
Yeah. And people that have no interest at all in HeroQuest just like more miniatures. It's like, oh great, more stuff for me to paint or just play around with.
Reminds me of my friend who like all he does is paint 40K miniatures.
Sure, it's a hobby in and of itself. Whereas I'd rather play the game.
Whole desk full of those things.
Yeah, I mean they look cool if you can show them off when you paint them. Of course, it's to a lot of people it seems like a chore. It's like, oh man, I got to paint 100 miniatures. It's gonna take forever.
I can see the tranquility in it, but he like goes overboard sometimes. Like he'll like he gets the tiniest brush and like details his eyes brushes. And like he'll get like the grass for the bases and stuff.
A little sand.
Like, how do you do that? Like that's crazy.
Well, and they have all those guides. Like, that's all. Games Workshop was all about that. The paint guides and everything. And actually, I mean, when the HeroQuest blood drive was going, they had a guy, and I forget now. It wasn't Doug Hopkins. It was one of those other guys. He was talking about, here's how you can paint the furniture. And he had a little guide on there, but he never finished it. It was just like one entry.
No,
it's like,
they only did the first one.
Yeah. So it's like just lack of interest, or he quit. He's like, oh man, I can't handle all this painting. It's too much. No, I have no idea. But I mean, they were trying to like ease people into it. And I think that goes part of the way towards what HeroQuest was originally about, was to introduce people to fantasy tabletop board gaming and say, hey, it's not as tough as you think it is. Like, let's get your feet wet. Let's show you some of the stuff. And I love seeing, like on Yield In, I love seeing the gallery, because most of it is people, finely detailed, perfectly painted, works of art. But then occasionally you'll be just like, here's what I whipped up in the 90s when I was 8 years old. And it just, the paint is all like thrown on there. And it's cute because you just picture some little kid like, yeah, it's going to be awesome. Like, oh man, I haven't even painted mine yet. Better get to it.
Yeah, I mean, back then I didn't have the patience to do detail. As a young kid, I'd just dip the whole model into a pot of paint and be done with it.
People say that's what I do. I mean, I actually do brush it on, but yeah. But the reason I do that is because I'll buy like a Reaper miniature that's just white, and I'll paint it like solid blue, so it looks like it would fit with one of the original sets. Solid red.
Yeah.
I always painted mine with the wrong paint. Ruining them.
Use the enamel that's like for die-cast models instead of acrylics. Actually, though, there's some really simple chemicals that you can get to like strip that stuff off. Super clean, degreaser. LA's totally awesome, and then
I think I have some of that from my computer business for like getting
simple green, super clean. Yeah. LA's totally awesome. Yeah, but wear gloves. But yeah, you just put it like in a plastic cup with a cover over it for a couple of days, and then scrub it off with an old toothbrush.
Wait, you mean you don't go like still closet and throw all your Star Wars figures in a vat of?
Oh yeah,
just
maybe smelt like 3,000 like action figures. Yeah, and then go to the store and buy a bunch of like crap to fill the space.
Anyway, but yeah, I thought this was a very cool experience. It took about, I think this was about 2 or 3 hours. And even though it wasn't like super detailed, I got to learn a little bit about the HeroQuest community. Usually I poke my head in every now and then and be able to, see what's going on. But I always have questions. Lots and lots of questions.
Becoming one of us.
Being confused.
Oh, yeah, fire away. We'll try to clear up the confusion if we can.
But it's mostly just on a business side of things most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like I get the
game. We don't really know.
And I mean, I play a pretty good barbarian every once in a while, right?
Yeah, I've always enjoyed having you in the game. You've been one of our regulars, really.
I mean, if weekly is...
Yeah, for me that's regular. I mean, unless you're like 10 years old and they're playing every day after school or summer vacation. For grown-ups, that's pretty good.
Yeah, the only thing I could probably find odd right now is we have a lot of quest packs being released. It looks like your estimate for a release date, and if I'm wrong, please let me know, was predicted to be after Mage of the Mirror. I don't know how long after Mage of the Mirror, but
they seem to be staggered.
Yeah, I'm thinking after sometime in the same year, though.
I would agree with that.
So Mage of the Mirror releases when? Is it February?
Yeah, February. Well, the thing is, like, the Rogue Heir and the Knights were like, obviously it's just a tiny little box with a couple figures in it. It's not a complete pack.
But is this
looks to be a very substantial thing.
And have we had any issues with getting those packs to people in their homes?
Well, I mean, the Frozen Horror was the first big one.
That was a big one, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think there was any problems. I mean, when it was shipping early, before it was supposed to, people were like, they would go online and it would say like sold out, and they'd be like, oh no, out of stock. But then like the next day they would get more in, so then people would order it again and it'd be out of stock.
Just painting them real quick.
Yeah. And it's like, again, it's like that wasn't supposed to happen. It was supposed to be August 1st, then everybody would get their stuff. So I don't think there was any problems. If anything, people got it before they were supposed to. Okay. So it was just everybody racing to do the first unboxing. And kudos to Joe Kamler for getting it. He was the first one I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all depends on how far along it is too,
And
because I
I
don't know
think,
how long they've been working on it. So
yeah, well, what I gathered is since it's a board game, they have to like start way in advance because it has to go through
yeah,
all those stages of production to actually complete. It's not like a video game where they can work on it up until the day of release and then have a day one patch and all that stuff.
right.
Like some companies we won't name.
Unfolds your hero quest, and you have to press a button to refold it back up and patch it up. You have to bring it
Yeah.
back to the
Well,
store.
they did have a couple of glitches where like it was, I think the Italian version was the translation was off, so they had to like unseal the boxes and like insert the new book in and then reseal it up. It's like
Whoa.
people bought it and it's like the tape had been, you could see where the tape had been removed and then retaped.
Whoopsies.
Yeah. And well, and they did a thing, I think it was the Spanish version, I could be wrong, but like some of the cards were translated wrong. So like you didn't even have to mail your old cards in. You could just email them and they would just like mail you a little packet of the correct cards. So yeah,
So someone trying to cut corners and use Google Translate.
I think so. Yeah. But I mean, you're copy and pasting, and it's like you copy paste the wrong one. So there were some little mix ups. Like I think maybe it was the German edition that did that, but it was like I think the wizard had a short sword, and it's like, well, he can't use the short sword. I want to say there's one version where they called the elf the troll, but I think that was on purpose. It's like, yeah, it's just a troll going into chat rooms and posting stuff.
It's his
Get people
nickname.
riled up.
Yeah.
But
Don't journey with that elf.
on the other hand, I think based on the original quests, like the brand new quests that we've seen so far, I think we're in good hands. They seem to have some good writers that know what they're doing.
So
now, there does seem to be a tendency like they'll release something and then there'll be some obvious mistake, and everyone will like complain and they'll immediately fix it, which you can't do with a paper copy. What are you gonna say?
So, and like you guys are pretty well versed. So
Not trying to shut you out of this.
No. That's
You're asking good questions.
So you guys are pretty confident in the release and stuff of the products that are coming out in the next, I don't know, year at this point.
Yeah.
That there'll be
Or
steady
two, yeah.
releases. Okay.
Ruby's thinking maybe August next year. I mean, that's a pretty good guess. Why not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it remains profitable and worth it. Like, I don't know what the reasoning behind the original version of HeroQuest going out of print was. I've heard rumors, probably due to it costing more to produce than they were making from it, but it was still being popular.
Product margin.
I think that's just
product margin.
just rumor. I don't know the real reason, but
I don't think they'd ever really say it. It would be nice to get a postmortem. Like that's what I would love to see.
That's a pretty good assumption though, because board games, I don't know what they were, back then, but a good reason. And I guess I don't know if I want to call this a board game in itself, but a tabletop. They're expensive in certain areas, and some of them are special order. A lot of people who get into them and get really interested spend a lot of money kickstarting them.
Yeah,
and
Sequest.
It's one of those things where I have a friend who's into a lot of these, down to the fact that he has like a Fallout tabletop, and like I've never heard of it before, and it's one of those things where every new one he talks to me about, I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. Where could I go get it at? And he goes, oh, it's on Kickstarter. And he's like, you have to go and donate like $100. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
I think if they call it a board game and they market it as a board game, I think they'll sell more units
because
it's more accessible.
Yeah, but it just takes like sometimes you don't get your product in that sort of deal for a very long time.
Yeah. Well, Hasbro has the resources these other like independent developers don't have. So they made it happen. I mean, it started out as a Kickstarter, special order, collector type of product, and thankfully it moved beyond that. So now it's retail.
But moving back to
some of them don't make it to retail.
Yeah.
Right. And
it might not. What if people decide, you know what, it's this inflation, it's a recession, I don't want to buy board games anymore. Or maybe I can't afford video games, so I'll go back to board games. I mean, the board game. They say that the board. I don't know if it's really true. They say the board game industry got a boost during COVID because people were sitting at home, twiddling their thumbs, looking for fun stuff to do.
Well, I mean, a lot of the newer systems costed like an arm and a leg.
Yeah,
so
it was too because the video game consoles they usually take a loss on the hardware, and so they're banking on those early adopters just snapping it up and all that. So yeah, it was kind of a bad time for the entertainment industry in general. On the other hand, I remember like years before that, it's like all these young couples were like, "Oh, we're having board game night at our house." Like, who did that? That was like when I was a kid, maybe, but there was a long period where board games kind of were not the cool in thing to do. So, I mean, Hasbro has their hands in a lot of games and toys and collectibles, but if they're trying to reach the widest possible market, you would think, okay, the more mainstream they make the product, the better. I mean, yeah, it's an expansion, but people understand what an expansion is to like a board game or a card game. You buy the base set and then you buy the extra. But it would be interesting to hear like who it is that's writing the quests on this. But nevertheless, I have faith that whoever they've got, they'll at least be okay. Like even Joe Manganiello's quests look like they'd be all right, to play once at least. Don't have to be they don't have to be a big name, just it's an adventure and it sparks your ideas going. But you want it to be of high enough quality that people want to buy it, because not everybody is going to say, yeah, I'm going to sit down and write it all. Because I think that's another thing that like would have kept me away from Dungeons and Dragons, thinking like, oh man, I got to read this big long book and I got to learn all these complicated rules, and then I've got to spend hours and hours creating this long adventure, and people might still be bored and hate it and quit on me. Whereas HeroQuest, it's very simple. It's very easy.
Shift from board games to card games, and now swinging back, at least in my area.
Yeah, because you'll always have hardcore nerds. You'll always have collectors who are into whatever thing it is. But the question is, how long will it last? Because HeroQuest, 1989 to like 1993, 94 is really how long it lasted. But I mean, that's like globally. In certain countries, maybe it, it's come and gone faster than that. Yeah, I think North America is like 1990 was the original version. 92 they released those 2 packs and they stopped. So Elf and Barbarian. So really we'll have everything, like as Americans we'll have everything that people had back then. And it's like now the new frontier, what'll be the new thing? Well, we already know it's Rise of the Dread Moon. After that, then what? So for all we know, they've already got that one done. And then the next one is in the works.
Just don't burn yourself out.
Yeah. Well, when we talk about our next topic, I think we will get into that. The question of oversaturation.
Oh, yeah.
Too much stuff, too many delays, burnout.
I mean, those are the biggest topics on the rank.
Losing track of your audience. I mean, all those things are risks.
And with that, Elvira, I would like to thank you for your time and being with us today.
Yeah, sorry we don't have a HeroQuest game this weekend, because I enjoy playing with you as well. Both of you.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah,
I missed last weekend. We had we do our Thanksgiving a little earlier than you guys usually in November, right?
Nice.
Yep. We're in November.
Yeah, ours was last weekend.
Cool.
Wow. I really wish that was going on.
What's your favorite food for that?
Everything.
Let's say you have a favorite food. I'm like diving into the whole thing. Like,
yeah.
But I mean, some people have a preference. Like, oh man, I got to get the stuffing, or got to get the cranberry sauce, or pumpkin pie. Yeah, I guess there's enough traditional things to go around, and then some families have their own special thing that they like to do. It's like, oh, you don't do the candied yams? I mean, come on, who couldn't use a couple of candied yams? In the back burner, ready to go.
But
it's usually just simple turkey or ham, potatoes.
Yep.
So with that, I'm gonna plug you in here, and it's just your website, right? You don't have any other things you'd want to plug in for, right?
No, I don't have anything else.
Elviler's Game Room.
So credit to Elviler's Game Room. The guy does good work.
Yeah.
And he also has done work for Kurgan's channel as well.
Heck yeah. All those pretty borders that you see.
And that's not just hamming it up because you're here. That's
talking trash about you behind your back. No.
But yeah, go take a read if you haven't. That's elviler.com. It's www.elviler.com. And once again, Elviler, thank you for hanging out with us for the first hour. And
you're awesome.
And just like that, we've got a raid. Welcome, Wolf.
Yes, raid.
But yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Elviler.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Yep.
I like the work you're doing as basically a HeroQuest community historian, preserving it's like a scrapbook album of all the scavenger hunts and the rumors. It's really nice.
There we go. I'm going to add that to my about page as my title.
Yep.
Historian.
HeroQuest historian.
That's literally it. But with that, and we just got the raids. We're hitting an ad break, but we just got the raids. Yeah, double raid. IT guy and Wolf. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the RantCast. We'll be back briefly after the ad break. We're going to take a quick break to use the restroom, get everything situated. I'm going to see if I can fix these small IT problems or whatever these are.
I want to thank you for your support.
Yeah.
And you.
We appreciate all of you. And especially, once again, Elviler for his time. And
Hell Guy.
Yeah.
Got a whole bunch of cool stuff.
So,
Mr. Northern Wolf.
Don't go away, guys. We'll be right back. All right.
RantCast.
Well, that's what's saying, man. You got to get into the shot.
Look at the shot getting off. Old fool. I love that. If you ever see the Hobbit cartoon, one of the best moments in it is when the three armies are about to get together and Gandalf is in the middle. And they're like, out of the way, old fool. And he's like, old fool? It's Gandalf.
Yeah, I got the I Am the Night challenge done first try. Dude, you're crazy. You are absolutely nuts.
Batman?
Yeah, I couldn't do that. Anyway, our next topic approaching.
HeroQuest, looking forward to it.
Yeah. Now we go to everybody's favorite topic here on the RantCast, and that is Star Wars.
Nothing but Star Wars.
Nothing but Star Wars.
Everything Star Wars.
Everything Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. We still have another couple topics after this.
Yeah.
But,
more to come on the RantCast.
So, kind of did some digging on stuff that happened this October and November, or not November, but September, in regards to the world of Star Wars. Believe it or not, Andor picked up some massive heat, and I mean in a good way.
Andor. See, and you were pretty negative about that show.
I wasn't negative. Okay, so I think we did a hot or not segment on it, and to me, it's I'm not interested. I just wasn't interested.
Yeah, I wasn't either. But I mean, I was really surprised to hear you say that because I thought, for sure.
Dude, so they're not giving off a lot of specifics, but they're just laying out a kind of just like a bunch of like minor details about the show, and it sounds interesting.
Does it seem like it's just going to be Rogue One, the TV series?
It takes place 5 years before Rogue One. And it's his life as a thief gone rebellion.
Okay. So it's not like he's working at McDonald's just waiting for the rebellion to start.
Which is kind of what I figured. He was going to be doing bad things, but
yeah, he's a bad man. He's done things he's not proud of.
And if you guys aren't well equipped with that, you can check out our last episode. We kind of go over that, but according to my go-to first, and then I go to other.
Myler's still here. Yeah.
Hey.
Great interview. Great guy.
Yeah.
And so
thank you.
Thanks for sticking around for the Star Wars part. Yeah.
It's been a little slow, in my opinion. Haven't seen the latest episode though. So
I've only seen the trailer.
This is from and like I said, just with Elvira, this is from critics. This is from a couple of user reviews, and this is also from Star Wars Theory because he's always biased.
We're not, by the way. Just see it.
But I consider him biased at this point. But he will always get. I think he gives a pretty good-hearted answer on that stuff. He'll tell you when something Star Wars isn't great.
I don't think it's wrong for people to be biased. I think it's when people pretend that they're being objective and they really are biased that it's a problem.
I think he comes off in a good, because he'll still say something sucks and not be like, oh, well, you should give it your own. Like he has really, really horrible opinions about Rian Johnson that you would agree with. So
I like the guy already. No, I'm just kidding.
Anyway,
I don't know. If you say why something sucks, then I can.
He's loving it by the 6th episode, which is the final episode by you. Andor has 6 episodes and is planned to have. It's planned to have 12 more because it's getting a second season. It was signed for 2 seasons, I believe. So, and just letting people know, I believe.
So 4 seasons. Is this like a hour-long show?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, so was Kenobi. Kenobi was 45 minutes to an hour.
That's true.
And it had a 2-hour special. So, to finalize, Diego Luna is a great actor. From what I've seen him play, as far as Star Wars, there's a couple other movies I've seen him in. He does a good job. Look, you're in the wrong house. You're in the wrong house.
I can hear him. He's the Joker. Rian Johnson ruins everything. It's a new TV series. Well, if I would have made, I would have done this.
I haven't even seen. Wait, I saw the Schneider cut. Wait, did Rian Johnson do Justice League?
He's kidding.
Oh,
it's like saying, man,
dude, I have not slept all day.
Neil Gaiman ruined The Dark Knight. He totally did.
I mean, I probably would have believed you. I'm gonna wait till he starts clipping me doing this shit.
Yeah, it's like I got him again. Got him.
But anyway, but
no,
to me, he's just not a good. He's just not good at those types of movies.
Did you see that clip? Rian Johnson, when he was a new filmmaker, he was like, "My whole goal is to get half the audience to be angry with me." Like,
is that all you heard?
That's all I heard. I didn't hear the surrounding context.
Anyway,
and he's like,
before we get drawn off, because like I said, these Star Wars discussions can get pretty heated.
Yeah.
Before we get drawn off, I would say, I'd say give Andor a chance. I'm gonna sit and watch the first couple episodes. Only because, like I said, Star Wars is going forward. It's not coming back. So
I don't have anything against trying a TV show that someone recommends to me.
And I still like Star Wars. I'm not in love with it like I used to be, but
I still kind of am. It's just that I guess for me, it's like I don't feel obligated to like seek out every new thing and give it a chance. Like I'll give a show a chance if someone tells me. Like I used to be the kind of person like I would never miss a Star Wars movie in theaters. Like, oh, I've got to see it. Like, it's got to happen. How do you feel?
Well, like I said, I'm at this point to where I can hate everything that comes out.
Yes.
And
hate flow through me.
Like I said, there are people who just don't like it. Don't like any of the stuff that comes out, and that's okay. Like I'm not. Please don't act like I'm dogging you. Because I was really like that. I was really like that for a long point of time.
I like Basics Theory, but anyway.
Tim and Tone Tech Noir Horror Mystery. Okay. But I have a thing where, and this is with a lot of movies. This is like with X-Men, because they tried to do it with X-Men, they tried to do it with a lot of things, where directors and stuff bitch and moan because there's already a story in place and they want to tell their story, and they're old enough to where they don't want to do the rom-com anymore, and they don't want to do this, and life is more than making minimum dollars an hour.
Got you for a Marvel movie. And like, they'll take the money, but they resent it.
So they'll run, your hopes and dreams into the ground because they want to write a script.
I'm Taika Waititi.
Or not really write a script because Rian Johnson didn't write the script, did he? Oh yeah, he did. I think he wrote The Last Jedi. I'm not sure. I'm too tired to make that assumption. Anyway,
that's okay.
The big thing here is the fact that there are certain parts of Star Wars that Disney has released that aren't bad to me. There's a lot of bad. So I'm putting this metaphor as in you're sifting through garbage to find trinkets that people have left.
Well, Master Northern Wolf, I think that's what the novels and the comics and the games were for. Yeah, you can do that with a TV show.
It's the first time we've seen Coruscant on screen in the Empire era.
Elviler's saying that he was more interested in the parts of the show that didn't have Andor in them.
Yeah, I was reading that.
Like, is he a dull protagonist then, or?
Hold on. There were other.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you are right on film, maybe. But I could have sworn there's so much content now that it's unreal. I remember Coruscant back when it was castle structure, like back before it was ever seen on film.
Oh, in the Thrawn trilogy.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're playing Rebellion, that's what they viewed Coruscant as. Is when the Empire took it over, it was very dark and castle-like, and
I mean, in the sense of not oversaturating the market, if they must release multiple projects a year. Well, yeah, I guess that's kind of the thing, isn't it?
That's why I was asking that question about
people can't get enough of something, so they throw it at you, and then till it gets diluted and you hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if HeroQuest is big enough to do that.
No, it's not. But like, you don't have to. Okay, so you don't have to do it on a Disney level.
Disney is big enough to do this. I just don't think that they're doing it. Like, how many good writers, directors? I mean, basically, the way the fans tell it, there's only two good writers left in Star Wars, and they're.
Don't say it.
Okay, I won't.
I'm just kidding.
I
just hate hearing it all.
I love Star Wars, but I feel like you take it more personally than I do.
I do. So, okay, so
I want to let you drive this one. So just
I do, but like I'm not. I don't hate anybody for it. It's just I hear it all the time, and it's more sad now than hopeful because.
But I wonder if
they work for Lucasfilm too. Like they don't. It's not like they're. A lot of people think that they're sitting over there raising the rebellion cane, going, "Oh, you can't tell me what to do. I'll make the Mandalorian however the fuck I want."
Swung in on vines, like stock Kathleen Kennedy and took over. It's like,
anyway,
they're just following orders.
To finish the Andor talk, I would give. I'm going to redo my hot or not segment on Andor because I have not really truly watched it, and in order to hate something, I believe you have to try it first. So
yeah, you probably do. I mean, you could decide you're not gonna. It's not worth your time, but then you can't quite have the same opinion, the same objective evaluation as if you actually did it.
Right.
Like before I saw The Last Jedi, half people were saying, no, this is a good movie. You should give it a chance. The other people were like, yeah,
it's good. It was okay.
Yeah. They liked it because they felt it was different.
So. I mean, in the sense of not oversaturating the market, they might. Okay, yeah, we already read that.
Yeah.
But
I think he's right.
Yeah,
it's a good point.
I mean, that's the same for Marvel or any real movie that has about 3 or 4 sequels in it.
On the other hand, there is another nuance to it. If you are going to create a franchise that's so vast that you don't expect everyone to be a super fan, like you're saying, okay, here's the Star Wars story that's for people that like this genre. Here's the Star Wars story for people who like this. And it's like just something for everyone. And so now Star Wars is just everywhere. Like there's that. But I think up till now, they've tried to portray it as this is all one thread of story and all the characters are connected. And so if one show sucks, it hurts the whole thing. And maybe that's not a winning strategy anymore for Star Wars.
Maybe.
But sometimes from day to day, I don't know what they're really thinking. It seems like they just cancel projects and they fire people and they rewrite things like left and right.
That leads me into my next
billions of dollars.
My next topic. There was
business
planning on, I believe next year. Was it next year or the year after? A Rogue Squadron movie in the works, based off the books?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was going to be
were inspired by the games.
Yeah, so it's loosely going to be based off the books. Of course, there's going to be creative liberties and whatnot, but it looked fairly promising by who they had lined up for the movie. As of September 15th, due to scheduling conflicts with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau taking care of 8 projects within the next 3 years.
I was doing the we're not worthy thing.
And it's really funny because they weren't even heading this, but it's due to scheduling conflicts and others. Rogue Squadron was believed to be canceled. There's also speculation saying that it's not canceled, it's just put on the back burner forever. Which, to me, that's canceled. Like,
yeah, somehow Palpatine returned.
An indefinite back burner does not mean that it's coming back. Like, that's great. I mean, so, yeah, that's what I said too, Wolf.
Yeah.
But I'm so used to it anymore. Some of my favorite Star Wars games have been shit canned.
Oh, man. So what was that? Star Wars 1313?
And it's 1313.
Everybody was pumped about that.
Battlefront 3, which I'm so glad I got to try.
At least we got Obi-Wan in some form. Like, you made me appreciate that game more. But I was
even
sad.
fan mods get canceled all the time. Like even the really ambitious ones.
Yeah, never.
There was supposed to be a Rogue Squadron re-release on the Wii that got canceled. It was supposed to have both games and then plus the new one. Imperial Commando was shelved and then canceled. The Darth Maul game, like, I mean, all for what you see before you.
Quality suffers when there's money to be made, wasted.
I mean, but here's the thing, though. Wolf.
Sitting on a gold mine.
We're sitting here knowing that there was treasure out there to be found, right? There's a 16-year-old that knows jack shit sitting on the couch watching Andor and loving it. So, and I say that loosely. Keep that in mind. I don't hate teenagers. I really hate having to say that. But the thing is ignorance is bliss, and it's a true statement. It's why they target the younger generation for a lot of that stuff.
Someone to come along and go, hey, this thing that you're watching, I know you think it's cool, but guess what? It's based on something even cooler.
And then they roll their eyes at you because they think you're stupid. So that's what I'm saying is, like,
everything sucks now.
Younger generations are more likely not to listen and more likely to do their own thing. And
they're used to what they're used to.
Which is nothing.
Yeah. We lower the standards. Everything is easier to get now. So yes, I mean, I knew people like when I was still in school, like who were like 5 years younger than me. And because of the internet, they knew about like books and movies and music that I liked. And it's like, yeah, I know that stuff. Rather than like, but yeah, if they're targeting a certain demographic, they're assuming you don't know anything, and they're just gonna
or you do. Okay, or let me rephrase it. Or you do know
remakes,
and you think it's stupid because it's not as cool or as refreshing as the stuff you see before you.
So following the latest trends in filmmaking or whatever it is. Oh, it doesn't have microtransactions? That's lame.
Surprise mechanics are where it's at, man.
No one's ever said that.
But anyway,
it's like Dragon's Lair. It's all quick time events.
We got that, and then as of right now, there is another show that they've got coming out that I know of right now. It's taking place of the other 3 that I actually found to be pretty good by your heroes, by the way, and. This is why I'm scoffing, is because Tales of the Jedi, which is supposed to be coming out October 26th of this year.
Not Batman. Batman versus Star Wars would be awesome. But
has a 6 episodes. It's another 6-episode season, which is another reason why I think they're kind of shortcutting this, is they're making 6-episode seasons.
I enjoyed the Tales of the Jedi comics, and they directly inspired the Knights of the Old Republic games.
Now, no, not these. The things that you're talking about do, but these cover, which I'm going to give you the actors and the characters.
Oh, okay.
The show takes place, from what I've got, as far as I even checked Wikipedia, which is a new low for me. So this takes place between a variable aged Ahsoka Tano, ranging anywhere from her young age to her older age.
So this is not way back. This is just a few years back.
No, hold on. Hold on. And it splits between that and a young Count Dooku. So it's going to be going back between them. In that time, they will run into characters throughout the movies, such as Qui-Gon, played by Liam Neeson, and a young Qui-Gon as his apprentice, played by Mikael Richardson, I believe is his name. There is Pav T, which is Ahsoka's mother, played by Janina Gavankar. Matt Lanter will be reprising his role as Anakin Skywalker. And then you have Ashley Eckstein as Ahsoka Tano, which I believe she was also the Clone Wars lady.
This is animated.
It is animated, yes.
So I want a CGI Christopher Lee, please.
A young Mace Windu will also be making his reprieve as well, but they don't have anybody named for who's going to be voicing him.
I don't think so.
Do
you want to play Mace Windu?
There's also going to be Bail Organa, Yaddle, and those are the other rumored characters.
Yeah,
Rhonda Baba.
When I heard the name Tales of the Jedi, I immediately thought of the comic book about the Old Republic, so I'm way off. Yeah.
I think it's
Yaddle.
Yeah, like the other Yoda that was in the episode 1 that got removed due to, wasn't it the fact that Lucas took back his statement on more than one Yoda at one point in time?
Only one Yoda at a time.
Yeah, and so he removed Yaddle from the movie. And
wait a minute, did he actually do that? Though?
Yeah, check. There's here. Hold on. Okay, we're doing it. All right,
the Blu-ray out. Oh, we have to look at the McClunky edition of whatever.
There's not a. Oh my god, I can't believe you.
Yaddle during the Jedi Council, right?
So back in it's the original episode 1 cut with Puppet Yoda, because now they have CGI Yoda. You just call him Stoned Yoda.
Well, how do you know it isn't the other way around, Master Northern Wolf?
Okay. Oh, I did not want that. Okay, let's go and do.
Yaddle removed. Somebody told me, and this was a complete lie, but at the time I believed it.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, it's right here. We're going to show the audience.
Is that somebody said that Yaddle and Yoda are Yiddles. That's the name of their species.
Did you say Yiddles?
Yiddles.
I think that was also an early rumor.
That was a joke, though. But the first response to that someone said was just like, George Lucas has no imagination left.
All right, here we go.
Just laughed so hard. It was like, no way. But I mean, at that point, I'm just like, I'll believe anything. Like, it could be. Okay, so from 99 to 2011.
That it was a Sith Lord.
Yeah, long neck dude is still there.
The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
I do not believe the Sith could have returned without us knowing.
Jesus.
Hard to see the dark side is.
We will use all our resources to unravel this mystery. We will discover the identity of your attacker.
I like Puppet. I still like him.
You'll see him in the. Oh no, they kept him in the 2011 version. I just screwed myself.
Well, what about the McClunky edition? Is it?
He removed him at some point in time. I swear, because he's not in the newer ones.
But that's the thing. Because I feel like Disney just took, like, he was gonna, every few years he was gonna release another digital release with slight updates, and they just took one from the vaults and threw it in there. That's how we got the McClunky.
So I'll have my
streaming
VHS copy.
Yeah, still got it on Laserdisc. Yeah, no, I wish I had it.
Man, I could have sworn they had it. Is this another Berenstain Bears moment I'm having?
Yeah, don't you remember, like, Nelson Mandela, he like died on TV, and then like AVGN
Hold on.
took off his mask, and it was the irate gamer.
Hold on. I'm not going nuts. Hold on.
And like when WWF went out of business and was bought out by WCW, Vince McMahon retired and his car blew up.
Oh.
The Yaddle conspiracy.
It is. It's now a conspiracy. Wow. I just got
Everything-
Berenstein Bears.
I just made a ton of people paranoid. I'm sorry. Slash not sorry. So, yeah.
I have traveled through the fifth dimension yet again.
You thinking Jabba the Hutt in New Hope? Well, yeah. See, what was the guy's name? Declan Mulholland, the original Jabba the Hutt, the heavy set Scottish guy, and he was replaced with CGI. But see, he was never actually in the movie. He was just in the deleted scenes, which you saw when they were adding the CGI over the top. But I think from Star Wars to Jedi, the making of the saga, they do mention it. So
Yeah, I swear it was like when I was like 19, they were talking about how they removed Yaddle, and
well, see, a lot of the stuff that we talk about with Star Wars is not true.
but it's
Like, wasn't there? Tell me if you heard this. Someone said that James Earl Jones' name was removed from the movie.
no, that would have been.
Or Dave Prowse's name was removed from the movie.
I heard that. It was like 8 years ago, though.
But I checked. Like every copy I have, it's not true. But somehow somebody.
It's like the newer edition, so I believe, because he did something like crazy to get his name removed. Well, no, it wasn't crazy. It was kind of an injustice more than anything else.
It was a long-running feud, which I
Yeah.
think they blew out of proportion. But I still,
Because I think he was kind of a jackass. He was like he was upped
in
himself.
my opinion, no much more so than anybody else that worked on the movie. I mean, because there was a lot of people that behind the scenes were getting on each other's nerves, but
Yeah.
or doing stupid stuff.
I mean, I understand he was
Why?
like the Darth Vader guy and all, and like he needed to state it every 2 seconds. But that's no reason to remove somebody's hard work from their name. Because like at one point in time, he was like a respectable human being, I think.
Yeah, well, but I think, yeah, and they could be, for all we know, there's favoritism because it's like your best friend screws you over, you forgive him. Somebody else screws you over, gone. He's gone. He doesn't get the same. Doesn't get the second.
He went around spoiling the movie before it was released.
That's what they claim.
Mm.
Yeah, because he said, well, what if Darth Vader was Luke's father? But supposedly he said that before Lucas even wrote it. So how could that be a spoiler? That's the part I don't understand. So
Okay, now we're going down the rabbit hole, folks.
See, he was part in the fifth dimension, and he was, seeing the future.
But Tales of the Jedi.
For whatever reason, I just want to say this one thing. So unless it's the McClunky edition, they have not changed the credits.
As far as I know,
His name is
I'm willing to admit that I'm wrong. Oh no, you're talking about David Prowse.
David Prowse. Yeah,
I don't know.
because I think in '97 they changed the
I mean,
credits
check it too.
of the 3 movies. So you're seeing the special edition credits,
Hold on.
but they haven't changed it since.
Hold on. They might have put him back in after he died because he did die.
Oh, well, see, that's the problem with digital now streaming. They could have changed something. They could have put like a Mickey Mouse head on Yoda for like a day and then removed it.
And keep in mind, like this stuff changes like night and day, so they could have removed Yaddle for like a month.
That's my actual thread. I was asking people.
Oh my god!
See, I've been to the fifth dimension, sir. And I
Holy
came out
crap,
alive.
dude! You are the first person on Google.
Okay, go for it. See if there's been any new replies, because I'm pretty sure they said, yeah.
Hold on, we gotta, because this was gold.
Yeah, man.
Oh my god! I didn't even notice, and there it is, right there.
All this time
Kurgan.
you were talking to a millionaire.
I don't care to go back into all that.
Yeah.
For my knowledge that it gotten so bad. It's actually moved from the Star Wars end credits. All right. Prowse is credited. He has never been left out.
That's 2021, so the McClunky edition would have been out by then.
Yeah. So the credits have not changed.
These are the original trilogy guys, so they're like going frame by frame through movies like all the time. So I thought if they know if this is to be known, they will know. If I have the last.
So it was a rumor.
That was February of 2021. So
So-
if anything has changed since then, let us know.
No, but like here it is. It's right there because he's been dead. So like if somebody's removing him from the credits now, that's a real dick move.
That would be, yeah.
But there you have it, folks. We're just snuffing out our own Star Wars rumors.
I like
Battle's been in episode 1.
Like, tell me if you heard this one. When Luke goes to throw the cable across to swing across the chasm, he misses the first time, and then he does it again. Like, there's people that swear that happened.
Good night, Elviler. Have a good night, man. Thank you
for joining us.
Being on.
Elviler.com.
No, I've never heard.
Yeah,
never heard
but well, apparently there is one of the versions. It's either the screenplay or the script or the audio drama where he misses it and he concentrates and he does it again. But some people had a false memory that it was in the movie, and so when they saw the special edition, they're like, "Oh, they took it out." It's like, no, it just was your imagination filling in the details.
I think somebody was just talking to me about how it got removed or something. But okay, so
I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they left it
alone. Leading up to the fact that we have some cancellations or delays, because there were delays in I believe in the next season of The Mandalorian. There was a pushback for Andor, I believe.
Not to keep butting in, but can you just clarify one thing for someone who hasn't really followed them? Is the Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian separate shows, or are they part of the same show?
Oh, good question. Because at one point in time, neither Kathleen Kennedy or Jon Favreau knew either.
Okay.
Because Jon Favreau wanted it to be the Book of Boba Fett and wanted it to be about Boba Fett, and Kathleen Kennedy wanted The Mandalorian Season 3 to be incorporated in there, and he just called it The Mandalorian Season 2.5, and they just wanted to roll it with that. So technically, no.
Okay.
It's just the Book of Boba Fett. It just has...
Because that's what people wanted all along was Boba Fett. They didn't want this other guy. It
has Din Djarin in it a lot. So, but also, you have to give... Tamora Morrison a break. He's like in his 70s, so he's not going to be doing anything crazy.
Just put the helmet on and then CGI stuntman rest of the time. But then he could still do the voice work.
Anyway, I don't know. I don't know Disney's methods. You know, they fight with real sticks or real lightsaber toys. I mean,
yeah. Well, it's like finding out Lord of the Rings that like Gimli, he was hitting people for real with his axe. Like the stuntmen were like,
yeah,
what are you doing?
Are you gonna fight back at him?
It's John Rhys Davis. Oh, I am. Okay, you're fired.
Yeah. You're fired and you're going to jail. So here's how many, if you guys don't already know, here's how many current shows are running and are to be in the works. I'm including Ahsoka because Ahsoka's like beginning of next year, I believe.
People love Ahsoka.
Anyway, we got Andor, which is to be run for 2 seasons. Like I said before, is first season 6 episodes, second season 12 episodes. I believe the first executive producer that I have written down here is Tony Gilroy. We've got The Mandalorian, which started in 2019, is now on its 3rd season due to COVID and a small delay. It's supposed to have its 3rd season as of February 2023. 4th season is now in development.
Dang.
So they didn't
some Mandalorian.
They didn't even stop.
And they're getting more of it, whether they wanted or not.
Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are working on this. The Book of Boba Fett has 1 season, although they leave it unchecked, as if there's another season in the works. But it is unknown. I have not found any solid rumor online that there's another season in the works.
He jumps back in the Sarlacc.
But it does not say 2021 to end. There's like a check saying that like it's just unreleased. So I'm guessing that they're leaving it open. Also done by Jon Favreau and I believe Dave Filoni in this one.
Dang, this guy's going to get burned out.
Tales of the Jedi coming out this month. 2022. 6 episodes. Possibly 2 seasons. But they're looking at 1 right now. Dave Filoni is the creator. Don't think Jon Favreau's in on this one. Ahsoka.
I guess they can cross-promote their own shows with each other.
I mean, Dave Filoni's in all of Favreau's stuff. It's Favreau is missing, so there's no cross-platforming anything.
If it's good, it's going to be good across the board. If it's bad, it's going to be bad across the board. Or if they just have their hands in too many pies.
I would blame that based on like overwork or exhaustion.
Yeah, just like you need to hire more people who are good.
But Jon Favreau is heading the as executive producer, amongst others, by the way. You know, you got Kathleen Kennedy and whoever the fuck
They wouldn't
else.
set these guys up for
Um,
failure. would
No, but it's Star Wars right now is a very timid environment, right? So once again, even you said, "Ooh, the two people that are saving Star Wars right now."
That's what everyone says. They're
And
like, these guys.
so, what are they gonna do? They're gonna
Fine, you're in charge.
ride that. They're gonna ride that horse and pony show until it makes no more money. So,
Even we couldn't save Star Wars. You might be hearing me.
So Ahsoka's geared up for one season, as far as I know, and it's unknown if they're planning on doing another one because of all the other crap they're doing.
I mean, I wish them all the success in the world. If they can save Star Wars, go right ahead.
Here's another one that took a deep delay. I mean, not really a bad one, but it took another delay. We have the Bad Batch, and that started 2021. Its second season now just finishing up as of January 4th, 2023, due to Andor and the other crap that was in the way.
Now, is this going to be like a kid's cartoon?
Bad Batch. It's same as Clone Wars. So it takes place before Star Wars Rebels, and it's about the clone. Yeah, it's about the clone commandos that were awkward but unique. So they were kind of the same as the Delta and Omega Squad, but they were like, that's what I call them. They look weird and
Individuals.
yeah. I actually watched the first season and it wasn't bad. I liked it. So, of course, that's Dave Filoni's doing that, and he does a really good job with it.
Well,
so.
And I should say, like after the second season, a lot of watchers of the Clone Wars who are grown-ups were like, no, it's actually a really like deep, mature series, even though it looks like a cartoon.
It does after a while. I still think that it's geared for kids. If you start off watching the movie, you're gonna gag. But
I did.
The first season is mostly filler because it's a cartoon, and so usually I recommend getting an episode guide because the episodes are out of order anyway.
Yeah,
so
I stopped watching right before people claimed it got good.
It gets really good about season 3 because they realized their audience was shifting to teenagers and young adults.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they still have this guy who talks like this and wants to inspire young children. Yeah, so like...
Join the Republic.
Yeah, so I mean... It's good for all ages, I would say. Mm-hmm. There wasn't any, like, really anything crazy. There were some moments where I'd be like, oh, a little dark.
The Last Airbender.
But yeah, it was fine. And the last season they did, I think, was kind of a nice signature to episode 3. But the kids who are now calling for episode 3 to be done by Matt Lanter and to have the whole thing redone in Clone Wars shots, you're crazy.
Really?
Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor did a really good job. And as cool as that would be to see in like a fan sort of deal, which it's already been done, I don't really feel like overriding the work of those two who put in thousands of man hours.
Like when they had the Gendy Tartakovsky Clone Wars.
Let's see.
Shaggy with a lightsaber getting killed by General Grievous.
So right now, as of the last 3-4 years, they've headed up about 8 projects that are still ongoing. Most are still ongoing. At least 1 or 2 seasons. Now, granted, they're not long-term series. They don't have any more than about 6 to 12 episodes apiece.
Do you know the budgets of these shows at all?
I did know Andor. I thought it was 100 million. Something.
And how does that compare to like Kenobi, just for reference? If you know.
Let's see.
Because I thought I heard that was like a cheaper show. That The Mandalorian was fairly expensive.
Well, we'll find out.
I'm just curious. Because, I mean, it's not like Disney's going to run out of money, but I'm just thinking, like, how much money...
Oh, they did run a little thin for a while, but...
Yeah. I've heard they've lost a lot of money in various places. People not going to theme parks. A lot of COVID stuff. But, I mean, again, that's the entertainment industry in general.
Series reported budget of 136 million. In case you didn't know, Mandalorian season 1 had a budget of 100.
So like 10 million.
John Watts. That was Really? Skeleton Crew?
Shockingly low production budget. Well, some of it can be deceptive because you think about a movie like Solo.
It's the only thing that has John Watts' name under it right now, and they're calling it Unknown. But the
because you get a
Skeleton Crew is the
a
one
movie
that's coming
like
out next year.
Solo where you reshoot the whole movie, and so that's why it's so expensive. But in reality, it's kind of like a lower end movie.
Well, here anyway. Kenobi was the budget film. It had $90 million for all 6 episodes, I believe. So all around, I believe for not per episode, it was its whole budget for that show was $90 million, which for what they did, the frames they shot, the special effects, yeah, because they knew they were going to spend a lot of money in special effects. They knew they were going to have to do pretty hefty costumes. They were going to have to show Vader a lot. I think they didn't do a bad job. Some of the special effects were a little odd, but like, I think they saved a lot of money shooting in certain locations.
I hope they sold a lot of those little like portable CD players, that droids, to kids.
Let's see.
Smoke detectors.
You want to know what Andor's budget was?
Yeah, I'm curious if they've said.
That doesn't make sense. That's per episode.
We got it in the chat, by the way.
So what?
Who do we have in the chat?
So far, we got Chaser,
Eric 4678,
IT guy,
and Rail
and
Halo.
I think that's Spot.
Aw, big guy.
Because if not, they've been pretty silent last couple of days.
Oh yeah, we need Polsky in here to clean house.
So,
thanks for joining us, everybody. On the RantCast. Oh, Yiddles love Skittles. I missed that. Still true.
Budget is 15 to 25 million per episode. So if it's 6 episodes, that would be. I can't math right now.
A lot of money.
I guess they don't have the total budget for it yet.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I don't know if it's true anymore, but they always talk about Hollywood accounting, how like Return of the Jedi never made a profit. It's like baloney. Somebody didn't get paid, didn't pay their taxes.
Yeah, no, they kind of were sticklers, but like I'd say $100 million for a TV show for 6 episodes. I don't know anymore. I bet big businessmen would say that's cheap, or that's cutting it, and to me that's not cutting it. But then again,
of Disney Plus,
yeah,
merchandising, action figures, boxes.
So coming up on our final pieces here, we've got upcoming series. We've got Young Jedi Adventures. It'll be in 2023, I believe. They haven't headed anybody yet for that. Skeleton Crew by John Watts. The Acolyte, which is being headed by a model, like she does like puppets or something, and that's
Star Wars ASMR. Sorry,
if I remember right, and that's Leslie Headland. Yeah, and then the upcoming series Lando, which is to be dated, as well as the Acolyte. So
Lando is definitely to be dated.
Yeah, but they are trying to grab what's his face from Solo. So
Donald Glover. Yeah, you didn't hear about that? He's like, man, all my life, my name was Don Glover, and no one ever caught me on it. They went through all the names people teased him about. It's like they never discovered that one.
Don't get clipped, bro. That's all I can say.
For mature audiences, for immature audiences.
We're
gonna clip out this spot right here.
At first, I thought I was like tired. I knew you right. And I was
Donald Glover. Donald Space Glover.
Oh, we heard what you said.
You knew what you meant. Sorry. You just unsubbed right there.
Followers down to 0.
No, it was he was the one that made the joke, like preemptively. Okay, let's.
But so we are at 10:49 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time. We are 11 minutes before our next ad in 10 minutes for the hour. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to give off our final thoughts here. So as far as it goes, we all know here at the Rantcast that we are both favorable to the Legends stuff. It went through its own special kind of hell in certain ways.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people who didn't like Episode 1 or the prequel trilogy. I'm pretty sure you still don't like the prequels that much.
No, for me, it's more Episode 1.
Okay.
Episode 1 was the weak spot for me. I don't mind the other two.
I'm pretty sure Liam Neeson is glad to get work again.
Yeah,
and
it's not bad the whole way through either. I think he was fine in it.
No, he was, because that was at the pinnacle of his career, and it didn't. I don't think it phased him too much.
Oh. But just as an overall film, I didn't care for it that much. But I mean, is it a masterpiece compared to the sequels, as people say? Not really. It's just a different movie.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say it's closer to George Lucas's vision for whatever that matters to you.
Dude, Lucas had a weird mind.
Yeah.
But some people say that that's good.
Some things he got right. Some things kind of lost me. Oops.
That's a weak spot. There's a surge protector. Yeah.
They're getting too close to the our cup lanes.
But yeah, if you've ever seen what Lucas's original vision for Star Wars was,
yeah, with Buck Rogers.
Well, it was interesting. I read the comic on it. There was a comic on how somebody replayed his old script and stuff.
Took the old screenplays.
Yeah, and it's nothing like what you see here before you. It's nothing like it. The definitions for Jedi, the story, and everything are all different. And it's like putting on a different pair of shoes. So if you feel like you're gonna get comfortable with that sort of story, I wouldn't say think again, because you might really like it, but I would say expect something different.
Yeah, it's like what if it was this other thing?
Because it is. Yeah.
And Lucas said a lot of things in a lot of interviews. Well, I always intended this and that, but then you can actually see, because those things originally were not meant to be released; they were leaked. But so many fans were interested, they obviously thought, "Hey, we can make some money off this."
You can probably pick it up on because how I picked it up was a digital book on my tablet. Yeah, so
I think I've read some of it in the store. And I was like, "Oh, this is interesting," but I mean, I've already read the story, so
yeah. And I think the main character's name was Luke Starkiller.
Yeah, there's like Deke.
Yeah,
and the Starkiller. I mean, there's several different incarnations, so they probably picked a certain version of it to make it a complete story.
So,
because you got like the old man and all his sons.
Starkiller doesn't just start with Galen Merrick. It's been a thing since.
Yeah, they've reused many ideas from the past, like that vehicle that you see transporting. What's her name in Jyn Erso in Rogue One? That like transport. That was also in.
They now replace that instead of the lat gun ships, because the original story for
supposed to be
Legends stuff with the rebels.
Yeah.
Until they developed new technology, they recommandeered old lat gun ships and modified them. That's why you see them in Battlefront and stuff.
Okay. But the blockade runner ship was that was the Millennium Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, are you talking about the thing in Rogue One? The in
A New Hope, the
U-wing. It's called the U-wing, I think is what it's called.
I'm not sure what the U-wing is.
It's the thing that it folds in and does that. It's that ship they were traveling on.
No. Being chased by the Star Destroyer. Yeah. But that ship was like going to be the main ship. And the Star Destroyers were like 2-man fighters, so kind of like the Jedi Starfighter. So there's all this, it's wacky. But different designs, repurposed, changed around. So, Andor, you recommend it?
Well, that has yet to be seen. We'll do it on our next Hot or Not segment. Do it live. I want to actually take a second to watch it. I said last time I'd probably watch it while laying down, but I'm actually probably going to give it more of my attention. So,
yeah. Well, you know me. My new thing is I go by recommendations. So if you watch it, you like it, you think it's worthwhile.
Did you like Kenobi?
Check it out.
I can't remember if you liked Kenobi or not.
It was okay. Like, I didn't hate it like some people did.
You definitely tell it was budget because like those costumes were a little weird at times. Like I really liked the prequel shots, but his like the Obi-Wan mullet, it looked like he went to go train with Anakin and he just rolled out of bed.
I mean, I guess the only times that I really kind of like yelled at the screen were when he's like, "Oh, I'll take this ship and I'll fly away, and you guys can just keep going." I was like, "Launch fighters." Vader's like, "No, we must go after it." It's like, "Launch fighters, you idiot!" Oh, they're all in maintenance. Can't do it. I mean, there were a couple of moments, and then yeah, people made fun of the fact that like Leia could like run away from those guys for so long.
Oh, dude, that was that. Okay, it was funny, but it was precious. Like
Yeah,
you saw one of the guys come up. He's like,
yeah, like a little kid was making it. Like, okay, run away now. Oh, I can't catch you. Like, yeah, it's just a joke. Or even the scene where what's her face? The Sith lady. I see. I'm already forgetting the show. Well, the Inquisitor. She's like
she does a really good job.
she's trying to like scare Leia, and it's like it just looks like something out of like a kid's show. It's like we're gonna send you to bed without supper. No, we're gonna tickle you.
My
father has an army. He's gonna send an army after you.
I actually did enjoy her character. I thought that bringing her back at the end of the show was a mistake.
Yeah, she had the perfect setup. She should have died.
But I think her character arc was awesome. And
people had set me up for like, oh, this is going to be the worst thing you've ever seen. So it wasn't. So maybe that's why I kind of was like, it's all right.
Well, I think that Disney has this thing where it's like nobody can die.
Demolish her.
They still have this thing where like nobody can die. So I don't think anybody truly does die in Star Wars.
No one's ever really gone. Had to be said.
Oh.
So yeah, Kenobi. I mean, at the same time, I'm not going to hold it up as this great, like, awesome thing. Like, I'm going to hold that treasure at my heart as like the real story of Kenobi. It's like, it just is. The dude abides.
All right, 3 minutes left. It's about time to go take a break. My feet are hurt anyway, so
yeah.
I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna stretch. We'll be back for our final return. So don't go away.
More to come.
More to come.
Yes.
I don't know. Hey, and welcome back
to the RantCast.
to the
RantCast. Yeah.
Oh, it's all the mic got from you. All right.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, we're going to move on to our last topic of the evening, going into the morning hour.
Yeah.
We're going to be giving our last and final thoughts on Rings of Power.
Ooh.
Respectfully. And then
Vanity.
we're going to go ahead and do some book reading. I'm going to offer up a chronology read to anybody who wants it. That's if anybody in chat wants it. They did raise the prices on the chronology reads for Minas Tirith. And Jacer, poor Jacer. Jacer was like, dude, they're 4K now.
Gotta use your channel points. Gotta use your bus tokens.
Stick around on the bus, you get those channel points, you'll spend more tokens.
Yeah, point in the right direction.
Ooh. Anyway,
the chat over there.
so we've got. What I mean?
Yeah,
It's
it's far
right there.
far away.
Anyway,
You know where it is.
we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Yeah. Shout out once again to White Bat Audios.
Yeah.
Casey. I've gotten into his stuff recently myself, but I don't want mine stream to sound exactly like yours, so I'm trying to be careful with it.
There's also in music you can use too. I've got a couple links to that.
What's it called?
To like in tavern music, like free.
Oh yeah, that'd be sweet.
All right, so here's a link for that, by the way, because I don't think I gave that link in the beginning. And just to be respectful to the artist, that's Whitebat Audio. If you guys are interested in any of that music, he brings a variety of it. So
yeah, don't
feel too suckered in sounding like the same, because I usually use the mashups. But for my main streams, I usually use 1 or 2 tracks. So
yeah, it was fun using those for the game book readings. So like I had like a sci-fi one for the alien one, and do the horror one for the ghost.
Which it is still technically Spooktober. We don't have the lighting today or the camera because I wanted to try out this new setup I have.
I think it's scarier this way. That was really scary. That was maybe too scary. We scared off some people, so we're trying to bring it back.
But let's go ahead and
it's like Slender Man.
Let's turn up the creep factor to 11.
How about Slender Man? I think Rotunda Man is a little scarier. Yeah.
Let's bring out some butts.
Beard.
Oh, we're still gonna talk about Rings of Power too, huh?
Yeah. So Rings of Power, the final episode is coming out tomorrow. And I've been listening to a podcast because, again, I've only seen the first episode. And I keep, like, every time I visit my brother, we're doing stuff. And it's like, hey, let's watch some Rings of Power. Oh, we can do that later. And we don't get it because he's got a subscription. And I've been listening to this Secrets of Middle-earth podcast, so shout out to them. And they're like hardcore Tolkien fans, and they're like trying their hardest to like find every good thing about it. Which is interesting because I'm used to hearing people just bashing the hell out of it, saying like, "Oh man, this doesn't fit. This sucks. This isn't good." And they're like, "Oh well, maybe this could work." And there was one episode where they were like, "Okay, the Mithril in this show has nothing to do with the Mithril that Tolkien wrote," and they were starting to get a little bit negative, but then they started getting positive again. So I don't know. It's like listening to that kind of makes me want to give it a chance. But I mean, I think I've said that before. Like, I think it'll be easier when the season is completely over with to just judge it like how it's been so far. Because I mean, I'm going by the 3-4 episode rule. Like, if you see 3 or 4 episodes of a show, yeah, there's going to be some bad, but that will give you a sense of what it really is. Because if they're going to do 5 seasons, they're going to have to maintain quality.
So we're going to start with the opinions that nobody really gives a shit about.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes is not the end-all, be-all of everything. But you want to know
it's the gold standard for most.
Yeah, I mean, movies have promoted themselves based on what Rotten Tomatoes says, and some people claim that a higher Rotten Tomatoes score means higher box office. Whether that's true anymore, or if it was ever true, you'll have to do your own research on it.
Let's make sure this is down a little bit more. Huh? Oops.
I mean, if I had to pick, I would say audience score, and there was the controversy about music taking out 1-star reviews but keeping 5-star reviews. So it's like, what type of review brigading or bots are you gonna deal with?
Okay, so to kind of give out the overall of Rotten Tomatoes may not yet be the one show to rule them all, but the Rings of Power enchants with its opulent presentation and deeply felt rendering of Middle Earth.
It's very diplomatic. I mean, it was pretty.
Audience score of 38 to critics rated an 85. These are the ones that you just love to see because they're so fucking diverse.
Yeah, but they're not all just one line like it sucks. Like,
doesn't honor Tolkien's work.
Well, they've made it. I've left reviews on Rotten Tomatoes before, but I got annoyed because I had a whole article written basically, and they clipped it down to like just a couple of sentences. So there's a character limit. So they actually cut you off. It's like a tweet.
Terrible.
And it's like, okay, if you're a professional critic, you could say what it is. You could have a 10-page essay if you wanted, but if you're a fan, you're an audience.
I expected more.
The only thin compliment about the show is the visuals. Unfortunately, they cannot make
There's
it.
a new Game of Thrones series. Let's try that. All right. There is, and it's actually doing better, I think.
Yeah.
Audience-wise.
I don't care about Game of Thrones, but I mean, yeah.
Neither do I, but the fact that, like,
that's the reason the show exists.
Yeah,
it's because they're trying to get some of the Game of Thrones money. I mean, Lord of the Rings will always be Lord of the Rings, but why a TV show at this time? Obviously. I'm glad they weren't trying to...
Obviously.
Yeah. I'm glad they didn't, like, try to copy.
I mean, well,
just make their own show.
To be honest there, Kurgan, the TV shows... Not have to spend a huge amount of money to just have one spectacular viewing. TV shows are multiple viewings, and I think they have an advantage over that over movies
true.
now.
That's why if you're going to do like a mystery, if it's all based on swerves, like people are going to watch it and go, "Wait a minute, that misdirection, that was just a red herring." Yeah, you want to string people along. That's why it's good to have story arcs. That's why it's good to have a plan. Not just make it up as you go along. But I don't know what they're really doing behind the scenes. People are just guessing.
Are they just guessing?
Couldn't even get past the first 15 minutes without cringing away. Well, if you were hoping it was going to be about the first age, yeah, for sure. Because they just like cram all that in like, the first few minutes and then jump right into the second age.
Yeah. Yeah, let's take a look at some other reviews. This was back when it first launched. It's getting review bombed.
Yeah, because those first two episodes, people watched them back to back. I didn't. I just watched the first one. But I mean, I have read the synopsises of the other episodes. I've heard other people talk about it, both positive and negative. Like I said, the Secrets of Middle-earth people are like really positive. Everybody else is pretty much negative. But yeah, they'll say it looks good,
visually staggering. Yeah,
but they don't like. They feel like it's too slow, or the main characters that you're supposed to like. Well, no, they said they don't like Galadriel, but they like the elf. The one elf guy, and they like the dwarf king and queen. And then it's a guessing game, like who is really Sauron in the show? Because there's all these people that like, well, maybe it's Sauron in disguise, but nobody really knows. So that keeps people guessing.
Beautiful, expensive, and richly imagined. The first half of the 8-episode season has so far not managed to meet any of those expectations.
Has the raw material to eventually become something particularly grand and spectacular, if it allowed for its course. Yeah. I don't think the fans are wrong to be protective of the stuff, and I think that's what they were saying on Secrets of Middle-earth. They were saying, well, if you just set aside all your expectations, you can enjoy it. But at the same time, when I hear that, it's like, yeah, but you were drawn into it because of the name.
Yeah, well,
you're expecting a certain level of complexity or quality.
Let me feed on that a little bit.
Say. Not to rehash everything we've already said.
No,
but
because I say that all the time. There have been dozens of remakes that look really good, or have had an okay story, really good like visual effects, pretty good action, but have turned out to be box office flops, or like big time failures.
Yeah, mostly
because of the name. And I don't know if that still gets them a successful like one-time run, because you can't make it again.
Everybody's curious.
Lightning strikes once for you, and then you wait another 10, 15 years to relaunch it again. I don't know, but I remember me and my girlfriend at the time went in to sneak. We snuck in to see the rebooted Total Recall, because we just got done seeing another movie we paid for, and we're on the way out, and it was like this movie theater had a room right by the exit door. And it was close to closing time, and it had just begun. And I was like, do you want to go see it? It's like, I wasn't really wanting to pay for it. So we walked in. And, I like Colin Farrell. I'm not like, I don't hate him. But that movie, when you look at it and it says Total Recall, you are expecting something like Total Recall.
It was closer to the book.
Yeah,
It
and
was far less entertaining, I thought, than the short
if I
story.
wanted a cheesy sci-fi action movie, which is what Total Recall was, but of that day and age, rename it something else. That may not be the best example, but there are tons of movies. What was it? The Rampage movie with The Rock? Like
I tried
literally
to watch it. I couldn't.
like really, it was literally
something.
about a guy protecting an ape. You could have named that anything you wanted and put the video game reference in there, and it probably would have sold you a little bit better.
Yeah.
It's the fact that they're trying to get the asses in the seats.
Yep.
It's the numbers that matter. And really, that goes to anything. We were just talking about how, HeroQuest may not be a big enough company to do the same thing that Disney might be doing. And to me, it's not doing it on the magnitude they're doing, but doing it maybe with the same strategy. And that's why I asked, because usually sensibly, even if you want something to make a lot of money and then you're going to just throw it by the wayside, maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're just, they're interacting with their audience. They're trying to get word of mouth out as much as possible so they can save money on marketing more. They want to put more money into their maybe there's a good reason for it. I'm not just saying they're just hounds. There's usually a reason most of the time. People are shelling stuff out. Like that's the whole reason we now have the one phone a year thing. The one trashy game a year thing. It's now become a thing in society. I used to love Call of Duty games back in the day.
Yeah.
Was it just because I was a teenager? There was
I enjoyed some Call of Duty games in my day.
There was a game. There were a couple of them that had really good storylines, and the first two were really good.
They just shovel them out.
Now they just shovel them out. And why? Because
you don't expect them to be good.
There are people who don't play a lot of video games other than Call of Duty, Fortnite, or whatever. They play the same genre of game.
Just what you expect.
That's a different flavor. And it's okay if you do. What I'm saying is that there are people out there that are variable to this. Like, I will play an RPG one day. I will go and play a shooter the next. And I'm telling you, when you've been around, the buffet eating whatever you want for I don't know how many years, and they start taking parts out of it and they replace it with slop, or they replace it with the cheaper version, you're gonna taste the shit.
Yeah.
So if you've never tasted it before, then
the Jello is all melted. Why is it?
Then you don't know if you like it or not.
They don't put sugar in it anymore. It's not sweet.
And that's kind of I may be saying it wrong because I'm like super tired, but the thing is that you don't know if something's watered down if you've never tried anything.
Well, it's like the WWE games. You're 8 years old, you got your first video game, and it's WWE 2K22, and you're like, this is amazing. Because that's your standard. You don't have any frame of reference.
Yeah.
Years go by, and you're like, wow, they just shoveled these.
And we're so good at those types of games. Like I said, those people get so good at that they don't need it no longer becomes a sense of competition. So where you're losing, like, I hate these games, I want to move to something else. It's complacency. So
the developers know, or the company knows, that they don't have to try very hard because they've got that built-in, guaranteed, entitled cash.
So going back to my original statement, I really feel like for like the last I don't know how many years, numbers have always been a big thing, and like what I mean by that is it's either asses in seats, it's copies sold, clicks made, because that's what gets either your investors going, or it gets the money that we send to people is chump change. It gets recycled around, and then the rest is either profit or it's a red line number.
And we got I think a lot of us made a big deal in Star Wars about George Lucas having too much control and too much money, that there was no safeguards against like risk and quality. And then Disney, it's just an even bigger problem. But they're just one example.
One is a lesser evil, I'm going to say. Because as much as people are really like defending George Lucas right now,
I dogged him a lot for stuff.
I still keep everything I've said about him. And He's a good artist. Star Wars deserves to be his. I've always said that.
Yeah.
At the same time, he needs to learn to have criticism. And there's a big thing is he hates it. Yeah. It's like an 8-year-old with a drawing that he's made himself over and over and over again to try and please somebody. You say something wrong, he's going to get mad at you, or he's going to, have a temper tantrum.
Some of the worst experiences, I went to school and studied art. The hardest thing was to create something and then just put it up on the wall and have everybody in the class criticize it. Go, yeah, okay, it's trash. I'll never do it again.
I'll never ever see that man probably ever in my life. He will die not knowing who I am, and that's okay. So me saying that he's a baby, I feel like he actually a baby. That's what I'm saying is he shouldn't care what I say about him.
Yeah. It's
the fact that if Star Wars was his vision, he shouldn't have sold it for $5 billion. $4 billion. Yeah. It didn't need a price tag.
Is it a money making machine, or is it your artistic vision, or is it both?
And then he felt pissy because they turned around and fucked him over when they wanted to do their own thing. Well, of course they did. You sold it.
You should have seen it coming.
I don't give you my Game Boy for, I don't know, $50 and then ask you if, I can make changes to it later.
You ripped it apart and used it for something else.
It's, or better yet, I don't give you a script. I don't sell you a script and then ask you to put my name in it, or to write changes in the script for me, or
I still want to somehow have control over it.
Yeah.
So I gave it away.
Yeah. And I agreeably, they were shitty about it, but
they were,
all they needed to do was sign the paperwork and say, look, George, we're not doing it. So
yeah. And he should have said, oh, you mean I'll have no input, period?
Nope.
Okay. Well then no sale.
Yeah. And or just signed it and then just told him up front, that's the biggest thing in Hollywood is men aren't dudes over there. I about said men aren't men, but we don't use that term anymore. It's people don't have they don't have gridiron. They don't have stones, integrity. I guess, integrity to tell people off in front of their face until it's the last thing they have to do. So Bob Iger would rather turn around and throw the scripts in the trash and say,
It's all passive aggressive backstabbing and gossip.
But I probably sound like a crazy person because I've never met Bob Iger before. But he did step down a couple years later. So.
Yeah. A lot of people were bent out of shape one way or the other. Well, anyway, Rings of Power. Like I said, if I had known nothing else and I saw the trailer, I'd go, this looks amazing. One thing I want to share, again, not to keep plugging these guys, but Secrets of Middle-earth, one of the things I was just listening to on the way here, someone was saying, it feels like this show is more based on Peter Jackson than it is on Tolkien. Isn't that interesting? Because you and I were talking about how the filmmaking style is completely different. Mm-hmm. But they were talking about there's references, lines that are borrowed from his innovations, prop designs, character quirks taken directly from the movies. So even though it's not based on Tolkien, it's not based on Peter Jackson's movies, he has nothing to do with it. He wanted to, but they wouldn't let him. They're still using that. And I suppose that's a good strategy because, like it or not, more people have seen those movies probably than have read the books these days. So
I guess, yeah.
Succeed or fail, we're always going to have Lord of the Rings.
My desk.
So anyway, I'll let you know once I've seen 3 episodes of Rings of Power what I think of it. But
I'm good. Not because I don't like it.
Because you're just not a fan.
I watched the first episode with my wife, and I'm not.
And you didn't see anything that won you over and made you a believer.
No, and they can. It's you've seen. I'm going to assume you've seen Casablanca.
Yeah.
Okay, it's revered as one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah. I've seen Citizen Kane.
If somebody remade one of those movies and with the director's heart in mind, it still wouldn't be the same.
Right. It would be forgotten because even if it was a great movie, still the shadow cast by the original is too large.
Yeah, it's one. You could just be as simple as saying it's not the original. 2, I go a little deeper than that. Jackson had a way of storytelling that to me matched how I read the book, and that's personal.
Sure,
that doesn't have to be anybody else's job.
Yeah, some people they didn't think it clicked at all. For you did.
Yeah. I may have been a little biased because I was reading the books as I saw the movies. I was 7 years old when the first movie came out. So, but at the same time, it's the same reason I can't see the sequels completely the same as the prequels or the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas may have modernized the prequels and made them kind of weird with all the CG.
Mm-hmm.
To where like some people have a bad taste in their mouth. For me, I can still watch them, and the only thing I scoff at is the weird love scene between Padme and Anakin in episode 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like really at the end of the day, there's still some of Lucas in those movies, even though it was saved in the edit and all that other garbage.
Yeah.
Um,
it's the idea that the original artist...
then you have...
I want to see the world he created.
A movie's made with a lot more people than just George Lucas or Peter Jackson.
He has the idea, and then other people make it come alive.
Yeah, if he can get his shit onto paper and then onto film with all those people, then you've done something.
He can get Harrison Ford to say the lines, even though he didn't want to say them.
Now, let's see Amazon with their $1 billion show.
Well, that's the other thing.
Do the same thing, because they're not.
If it was a low-budget show, my expectations, I'd be like, oh, they did a pretty good thing. When it's that high.
I mean, I still think it's good. It's just like I said, it would be like, to me, it's Lord of the Wrongs. It's not, like, that's what it sounds like to me. And with all the defending they've gone out for it and the constant media slapping, like,
try hard.
I literally look, every single box I get from Amazon has a stamp for Rings of Power, and it's driving me nuts. You have so many other shows out there, dude.
It's Raid Shadow Legends and League of Legends.
I'm waiting for The Boys to come out. I'm not waiting for your Rings of Power show. I'm glad that you scored the Lord of the Rings IP, but it's not working out for you. So, at least not with fans. And if the fans don't care and it's just the critics, then just appeal to the critics. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. If that last episode is a bunch of fan service, we'll know what happened.
I mean, and who cares if it... Like I said before, if it wasn't Lord of the Rings, it wouldn't put as many asses in seats, but it might be something actually...
Yeah, generic fantasy show.
You could tell the fucking movie however you wanted in that timeline, and it would be... To me, it'd be fine. I don't think you could be as close, because then somebody would be like, yeah, this is kind of like Lord of the Rings.
Well, yeah, there have been a few... was it like The Legend of Shannara or something? People were like, oh, it's just a Lord of the Rings ripoff. But then it became its own thing. And then,
like that's the thing. There's great storytellers who have had inspirations. Like even my stream has inspirations. I take a lot of crap from Lion Sauce unintentionally. Like, and God forbid he like ever were to take a look at my stream one day and go, oh man, because like I have unintentionally said some of the same things because I watch him all the time.
Well, I find myself like I'll say something and it's like, wait a minute, that's the same thing that this other guy says, and it's like I wasn't trying to copy him. I don't think I'm unoriginal, but yes, you pick up things unconsciously from other people.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas did that. Tolkien did that. You know, all these people. Frank Herbert did it. So, yeah, you try to know what your influences are and credit them where you can. But yeah, it happens. Everybody gets influenced by everybody else.
Let's go ahead and...
well, they call them influencers.
We should do a book.
Yeah.
We'll be reading past the ad.
Yep. Well, thanks everybody for joining us here on the RantCast.
Yeah, we're gonna
get all philosophical and deep on you.
We're gonna go ahead and do a couple of books for those of you who are still with us. It looks like we've got a couple of viewers left. You can go ahead and vote on a book, or you can go to sleep.
Let's sleep with one eye open, gripping your pillow tight.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I know I'm gonna do the reading because I like doing the voices.
You do.
Yeah, although they might come out really crappy.
Yes.
Sean Connery. So we've got Wizards, Warriors, and you.
Yes.
We have...
whatever we don't get to is going on my...
the Castle of No Return.
Choose your own adventure.
It's going on your what?
Oh, on my stream, yeah. Because I've been doing the game books too. I think it's just a good thing.
My favorite. Ghost Hunter. Horrors of the Haunted Museum, which I think we got pretty far last time.
Yeah, we turned into one of the displays.
and Midnight at Monster Mansion. Oh.
Get sucked into the TV. Yeah.
Give
So,
you about 30 seconds to decide if chat
vote
wants to vote.
now. Use your bus tokens in the chat to tell us which of these, or just type it in
I was
there.
gonna say you just type it. I don't have any, but I don't have bus token options for that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Option 1, 2, 3, 4. Just tell us which any of those books that you want us to read, and we'll start reading.
I think
So Wizards and Warriors. There's some more Midnight Monster Mansion. I mean, hey man, you like the Ghost Hunter.
Well, if I'm doing the reading, you should probably pick. You pick one. I'll read it.
I'm thinking Midnight at Monster Mansion, but maybe I should save that for mine. Let's do the Ghost Hunter again.
Ghost Hunter. Ghost Hunter X Hunter.
Ghost Hunter D. Oh, that's Vampire Hunter D.
All right.
This is an official Choose Your Own Adventure. This is a fair use.
It's all fair use.
Yep. We're going to give our review of this book.
It's very good.
Yes. I like it a lot.
20 possible endings. I need my water so I can.
It's from the 80s.
Behind me. It's behind me.
It's funny because you're like, I need water, so I'm drinking water.
I'll soon take my meds. Hold up.
Water is life. Oh yeah, Dune coming out next year. Coming out early.
Is it the next one?
2 weeks early. Yeah, part 2.
Ooh.
Part 2.
Too bad Jason Momoa's not in it.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Too soon. Well, they could put him in flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted. That's the thing. Anything's possible. I mean, I have a sense that just like the first part, they're going to cut out a lot of stuff from the book, and we're just going to have to deal with it. But
Look,
what we get is going to be great because that's
I don't
a fine job with what they had.
care what they do because like the first one was actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It
may get you to read the book, and then you get more.
For the only man in existence who hasn't read or watched Dune.
Dune is amazing. The sequels may leave you a little confused, but
We should do a collaboration and do the Spice Wars stream.
Spice.
Because that's the what is it, the 4X?
Yeah. There's a board game, a couple of board games as well.
All right. You ready?
Do this. Ghost Hunter
X Hunter.
on the RantCast. Little spooky reading.
All right. Ever since you solved the Harlow Thrombey murder case, your services as a private detective have been much in demand. Harlow Thrombey was one of the richest men in town, and it was a surprise when he called you in to help find out who was plotting against his life. Unfortunately, Thrombey was murdered the very night you began your investigation. His widow, Jane Thrombey, was a prime suspect, but you proved her innocence, and afterward, she continued to live in their huge Victorian house until she died of a heart attack a few months ago. You've enjoyed being a private detective, but lately, you've been thinking about going into a new field. In fact, you've decided to become a ghost hunter. What got you interested was a magazine article on the subject. The author said that in most cases, a haunted house was once the scene of a murder. This fact tied in with some news you heard recently. After Jane Thrombey died a few months ago, a man named Howard Grimstone bought the Thrombey place. Neighbors say that strange things have been going on there. Lights on late at night, guard dogs patrolling the grounds, weird sounds coming from the house. The more you think about it, the more likely it seems the ghost of Harlow Thrombey has come to haunt the house where Thrombey was murdered. Oh, yeah. Another thing in the article caught your eye. The article said that Professor Sybeck, who is supposed to be one of the world's leading authorities on ghosts, works at the Institute for occult studies only a few miles from where you live. The author did not seem to have a high opinion of Dr. Zybeck. However, in fact, he said this. Although Dr. Zybeck has interviewed hundreds of people who claim to have seen ghosts, he admits he has never seen a ghost himself. How can he be so sure, then, that ghosts really exist? Oh, my washer's going nuts. I have to go help the washer. Time out. My washer's going batty.
You want me to keep reading?
Sure.
All right. I think it's the ghost. Doesn't he know that people have a way of seeing what they want to see or what they're afraid of seeing? Dr. Zybeck's evidence for the existence of ghosts seems no more convincing than all the so-called evidence for UFOs and ESP. You ask various people if they know anything about Dr. Zybeck. A neighbor of yours, Mrs. Wotc, tells you that she's known Dr. Zybeck for many years. I don't know whether his theories about ghosts are true or not, but I do know this, she says. He is an honest man. You wonder whether it would be useful to see Dr. Zybeck or not. Okay, decision time. So we're reading Ghost Hunter here. Decision option 1, if you decide to pay a call to Dr. Zybeck, so that's option 1. Option 2, decide to start ghost hunting without delay. So any of you in the chat, feel free to type out your answer. Should we pay a call to Professor Zybeck, or just start ghost hunting? Give you a little bit of time to decide. All Strange Bus is checking on those strange sounds he was hearing. If he doesn't come back, we'll know what happened. Just checking the chat here. Scare everybody away. All right, so it's decision time.
Okay.
Do we pay a call to Professor Zybeck, or do we decide to start ghost hunting without delay?
Well, I'd say Zybeck.
All right, let's do it.
Sorry, my something caught on the washer. Started like dancing.
You were investigating the strange sounds.
Yeah.
Within the hour, you knock on the door of Professor Zybeck's office at the Institute. A moment later, you're greeted by a tall, slim man wearing a tweed vest and polka dot bow tie. He ushers you into a tiny office, which is made even smaller by huge stacks of books piled up against the walls. Sit down and make yourself comfortable. The professor taps the ashes out of his pipe and stuffs in some tobacco, but evidently, deciding you might not want to sit in a room full of smoke, he lays the pipe down on his already cluttered desk. What can I do for you? I'm sorry, but I have to go to a meeting. I only have a few moments. Well, you say, clearing your throat, I read that you've done a lot of research on ghosts. I thought maybe you could give me a few tips. Tips? Professor frowns. Well, it's a very complicated subject. Not one that boils down to a few tips. That being said, I will tell you this. Number 1, ghosts exist. But they normally don't exist in such a way that we are aware of their existence. So most of the time, it doesn't matter whether they exist or not. I don't quite follow, you start to say. The professor interrupts you with an upraised finger. I'm not surprised you can't follow. It's very complicated, as I said. Well, what I say next, you can follow. Number 2, ghosts don't hurt people. You're more likely to be hurt if you run from a ghost than if you go toward it. Let me say that again. You're more likely to be hurt if you run from a ghost rather than if you run toward it. The professor takes a gold watch out of his pocket and looks at it. Oops, I'm very late. I'm sorry. As he gets to his feet and grabs his jacket from the coat stand, he waves his pipe at you. Goodbye. I wish you luck. Good day. Before you can even thank the professor, he's out of the door. You glance around the cluttered little office for a moment, and then head home, thinking about what he said.
This guitar is very old.
It's haunted, too.
It was my homeless man's guitar.
Oh, nice. I didn't know you played.
Okay. Well, I got this as a gift from a friend of mine, and it's missing a pickup. And the strings are still the original strings. If you know anybody who's anybody, you should be replacing your strings like every 6 months.
Oh,
These things are like rusted. This does not sound good.
hey, who am I to judge? You're sitting at your desk, thinking about how you might begin your work as a ghost hunter, when the phone rings. It's your old friend, Jenny Mudge. That's quite a coincidence. Jenny, who's also a private detective, helped you solve the Harlow Thrombey murder case. How are things, you ask? Jenny replies in her usual lively voice. Very fine. I've stopped being a private detective and I've decided to become a ghost hunter. That's amazing, you say. Great minds think alike. I was just about to see if I can find out whether Harlow Thrombey's ghost has returned to haunt this old house. Could be, Jenny replies, but I've learned of a house that by all reports is definitely haunted, just a little way out of town, the Gray Mansion. It's been empty for a long time. The place is so haunted, weird, cursed, whatever you want to call it, that no one will go near it. I called you to see if you'd like to go out there with me this Saturday. Okay, option 1, join Jenny. Option 2, hunt for Harlow Thrombey's ghost instead.
Hunt the ghost yourself.
Really? Okay. Turn down the fortune.
Is that because last time we went?
Yeah. No, I thought maybe we had a little thing going, but sometimes you just gotta focus on the mission. That stuff can come later.
Oh, is that what you're looking for?
I don't know. I don't know how you read this. Just getting little vibes. Nothing definitive. Okay. All right. So we're gonna make the decision.
Yep.
You decide first of all to pay a call on Howard Grimstone, the new owner of the Thrombey house. You're sitting at your desk thinking about what asking when a woman appears at your front door. I'm Sylvia Rust, Jane Thrombey's niece, she says. May I come in? Well, of course. You take a close look at your visitor as you usher her into the office. She's a rather plump, round-faced woman in her 40s. You guess. Her skin is so fair, you imagine she must sunburn very easily. Her yellowish hair is curly. She looks as though she has a basically happy nature, but right now she seems tense and anxious. You'd heard that Jane Thrombey had left most of her money to Sylvia, and you're curious to know what brought her to see you. Sit down. What seems to be the problem? You motion her toward the old couch next to your desk. I'm penniless, and I should be rich. Search Sylvia's eyes for a clue to her character. What do you mean? I heard you inherited most of your Aunt Jane's wealth. Everything except the house. Sylvia leans towards you. Aunt Jane provided in her will that the house and furniture be sold and the proceeds given to charity. All her money and jewels were to be left to me. But before she died, she put her money into diamonds. She even told me how many. There were 37. One of them was the famous Khartoum star. One of the largest diamonds in the world. She hid them in a red leather box. I'm the only one who knows it. The house has been sold, but I'm sure the diamonds are still in it. In fact, I think I know exactly where they are. Aunt Jane once showed me her secret hiding place behind a wooden panel in the right rear corner of the cedar closet in the attic. How do you know about Howard Grimstone, the new owner? Or what do you know? That didn't make sense. What do you know about Howard Grimstone, the new owner? Not much, Sylvia replies with a shrug. But there are a lot of rumors about him. I've heard he's a big drug dealer. There's also a rumor that he's in the arms smuggling business, that he makes bombs for Paris. Not the kind of man you could ask to help you look for diamonds, I guess. By now you can see that this is going to be a tricky case. It will delay your new career as a ghost hunter. Besides, you're not really sure you can help. All right. You want me to keep reading or play the guitar? I don't even know how, so you can stick with this. Okay, so option 1.
I'm listening while tuning.
Tell Sylvia
Probably.
you don't think you can help her. Option 2, tell her you'll think about it. That doesn't sound very committal. Diamonds. Terrorists.
Tell her we think we can. We'll think about it.
Think about it. Okay.
Yeah,
so it's
we'll
option
think
two.
about it.
All right, so we're checking for that, and we haven't read ahead, so we don't know what's going to happen.
Nope.
After Sylvia Rustin leaves, you sit at your desk wondering how you can possibly help her. If you take the case, you'll hardly be able to call up Grimstone and ask if you can search a closet in his attic. If you were to tell him what you're looking for, the diamonds would surely vanish by the time you got there. You tilt back, feet on your desk, eyes closed. A loud knocking interrupts your thoughts. Opening the door, you find a rather short, stocky man. His oily, graying hair is slicked back over his head. Close-shaven mustache looks like a line of grease paint over his thin, almost non-existent upper lip. I'm Howard Grimstone. I heard you're a private detective, and I need your help. You try to hide astonishment. Well, please, come in.
So, are we no longer ghost hunting? Did I deny all ghost hunting adventures?
I don't know. You have a successful career as something else. You motion to the same old couch Sylvia Rustin so recently vacated. What's your problem? See, I like the books where you can go off script, but yeah, it's like you never quite get to where you're supposed to be. A long, successful career as a filmmaker. It's the strangest thing, Brimstone begins, and what strikes you as a rather phony tone of voice. I recently bought a house owned by Jane Bromley, who died a few months ago. It's a great house, suits my needs in every way, but it has one problem. Brimstone leans forward as if to add emphasis to the statement. And what's the problem? Ghosts! The place is haunted. Strange wailing sounds and lights. My employees and I can't get a good night's sleep. That's bad enough, but other things have been happening. Last night, the crystal chandelier began swaying wildly. Then some of the crystals crashed onto the dining room table. One of my men was cut by flying glass. I've never believed in ghosts before, but I'm telling you, there's one in that house. Well, what do you want me to do? Grimstone leans forward, his thin lips stretched to some sort of smile. I need someone to find that ghost and get rid of it. I need a ghost hunter. I'll think about it and let you know in the morning, you say. As he leaves, Grimstone turns. I'll make it worth your while.
Oh boy. It sounds like you do a lot of thinking about it. How am I doing? Too much thinking.
Yeah, this case is getting very interesting. Whom should you work for? Sylvia Rustin or Howard Grimstone? It wouldn't seem right to work for both of them without telling them.
Why not?
Who? Yeah, see?
Double the price.
Twice the pride, double the fall. Yeah. Without telling them what you're doing. Yes, that would make sense. You'd be more inclined to work for Grimstone. You'd want to be a ghost hunter. On the other hand, you don't like the idea of working for a criminal. Still, Grimstone isn't asking you to do anything illegal yet. So why not take the case? Yet you still feel some loyalty to Sylvia Rustin because she came to you first. You can't just let your thoughts go around in circles like this. You've got to make a decision. Option 1, work for Sylvia. Option 2, work for Howard Grimstone.
Can't do both.
Oh, man. Anybody in the chat want to chime in?
One leads to certain death.
Yep. The other leads to possible death.
The other leads to waking up my family.
Yeah. All right. I don't see any activity, paranormal or otherwise, so I think you're going to have to make a decision. They both seem a little eccentric, so I think we're going to have fun either way. But the question is, which is going to kill us first?
I think I'm going to do Sylvia.
All right.
I'm going against my better judgment, but I'm thinking it's like the reverse.
Now, but on the other hand, if you cross this guy, you think he's going to be on our bad side. But then if you work for him, you're going to be right in his face.
Oh, yeah. So I think Sylvia's probably the right way to go.
Okay. Do the right thing.
I think.
Always do the right thing. We'll go with Sylvia.
Yeah. What did I knock down?
Light side decision.
Light side decision.
Let's do that. Light side action. You call Sylvia Rustin, and she agrees to come over right away. While waiting for her to arrive, you turn over in your mind this problem. If you ask Grimstone to let you look for the diamonds, won't you be at his mercy once he sees where they are? When Sylvia arrives, a discouraged look on her face, you don't have a chance to explain your thinking before she begins talking a mile a minute. The more I think about this, the more hopeless it seems, she begins. If I can't get a court order, I don't see how we can get those diamonds. And it's not as if we're trying to catch Grimstone doing something wrong. He's not stealing diamonds. He doesn't even know whether they're in the house. I agree, Stay. I think the only thing to do is to confront Grimstone, tell him we know where the diamonds are, and can lead them to him. And then we'll jointly turn them over to the police. Based on what you told me, I feel confident that any court would rule that you are the rightful owner. But you're acting as if Grimstone can be trusted, Sylvia protests. As soon as we show him the diamonds, he might very well kill us. At the very least, he'll pocket them and claim we made up the story to blackmail him. You have a good point, you reply, but I've been thinking about this problem. I think I have a way around it. Before we go to Grimstone's house, I'll mail letters to the police telling them what we're about to do.
It's very elaborate.
We'll be able to warn Grimstone that if anything happens to us, the police will know exactly who is responsible. It's like, I've seen movies before. I know how this works.
You're also incriminating yourself.
Yeah. It still sounds risky, Sylvia says, but I'm willing to
Damn
try
right it does.
Yeah, it's the name of the game.
Risk?
Yep.
I didn't know we were playing Risk.
Shadow Legends.
Oh, that's Rage. That's Raid Shadow, wasn't it?
Shadow Forces. Risk Shadow Forces. Yeah, I got it wrong. All right. Okay. When Sylvia calls Howard Grimstone and tells him that she and you know the secret location of some jewels in his house, he immediately invites you both over.
Come on in.
Approaching the imposing mansion, you cast an anxious eye on the dog pen attached to the house. Two huge mastiffs lunge up against the chain link fence, as if they're ready to tear you to bits. Howard Grimstone, his piercing dark eyes watching you approach, is waiting, smiling at the door. Please come in, he says. He leads you and Sylvia into the sumptuous house where Harlow Thrombey lived and died. Behind Grimstone is a hulking thug of a man, with a crew cut and a flat, unhealthy-looking face. It's all right, Kenny, Grimstone says to the thug, who slips into the shadows. Grimstone then turns to greet you, as if you were long-lost friends. Of course, if there are diamonds hidden here, we shall turn them over to the authorities, he says. And if the court rules they belong to you, Miss Rustin, I shall be the first to congratulate you.
With a knife.
In the back. You're suspicious of Grimstone's oily smoothness. While he talks, you cast your eyes
Oily smoothness.
at the expensive wood paneling and the heavy oak furniture.
Have you ever told anybody that before? You're looking particularly oily today.
Oily smoothness.
Oily smooth.
Yeah. You look at the heavy oak furniture that couldn't have been bought in ordinary stores. Harlow Thrombey certainly lived in the grand manner you reflect. Still, you wouldn't want to live in a place like this, even if you were a millionaire. It's too dark and gloomy. Well, says Grimstone after a long pause, where are the diamonds? In the attic, Sylvia replies. Well then, Grimstone says, follow me. Grimstone leads the way, followed by Sylvia, then you, and then Kenny, up the 3 flights to the attic. As you approach the cedar closet, you get ready to say the words that may be necessary to save your life. For you are by now convinced that Grimstone might kill you and Sylvia as soon as he learns the location of the jewels.
That's no knife. I'm not carrying a knife.
So it's here, then, Grimstone says as you stop before the door to the cedar closet. At that
Too
moment, you
easy.
turn around and face him. You shouldn't know, Mr. Grimstone. You should know, Mr. Grimstone, that a letter is already in the mail. The police will receive it tomorrow. It says that if I don't call them within 2 days, it will mean that harm has come to me at your hand. Grimstone looks at you menacingly. His voice is filled with sarcasm. What a rude thing to say! You don't deserve my hospitality after that. Now show us the diamonds.
Oh.
You open the cedar closet door, and Sylvia points toward the secret panel. You deftly pry it open and expose a small red leather box that's filled with glittering diamonds. One of them, as big as a walnut, seems almost to be giving off its own light. Sylvia gasps, the cartoon star. Grimstone suddenly shoves you aside and grabs the box. I'll take these and turn them over to the police. Wait a minute, you cry. Grimstone strides out of the closet, holding the box out of your reach. Show them out, Kenny. Let me count those diamonds, you demand. To your surprise, Grimstone turns around and hands you the box. Go ahead. Count the diamonds. 37 in all. Grimstone quickly snatches the box and slams it shut. Suddenly there's a wailing voice, like that of some lost soul that has been stripped of every possession, every friendship, every hope. A wall that grips you with terror. Grimstone clutches the box of diamonds tightly. His hands are shaking. A whirlwind of white, streaking light surrounds you. It closes in as if about to squeeze you to death in a coil of ghostly energy. Oh. Okay. Decision time. Option 1, run to the stairs. Option 2, stand fast.
Oh, we got 7 minutes to stand fast.
Too easy. All right. You want to stand fast?
I'm standing fast.
All right. Fast standing.
Rough landing.
Happens. You stand there, faking it, trying to act as at ease. You're actually frightened out of your wits. Sylvia tugs at your hand. It's horrible. She tries to pull you toward the stairs, but you stand your ground, determined not to give in. The wailing increases in pitch and loudness. Suddenly, Kenny bolts. You hear him charging down the stairs like a stampeding bull. Then you hear a thunk. Grimstone falls to the floor. The noise ends abruptly, and the light begins to fade. He's fainted, Sylvia says. You quickly grab the box of diamonds. Let's get out of here. But as you and Sylvia start toward the attic steps, a gray-white figure confronts you. Even in his uniform shifting state, you recognize it as a ghost, Arlo Thrambe. Stop in your tracks, paralyzed by the stare of hollow eyes which emit an energy that penetrates your brain, carrying a message. Your fate is to be spared this time. The image fades into blackness. Brimstone stirs on the floor. You and Sylvia hurry out of the house. Kenny is nowhere to be seen. A few weeks later, the court rules that Sylvia Rustin is the rightful owner of Jane Thrambe's diamonds, worth $615,000 in 80s money.
Wow.
Sylvia pays you a handsome fee for your help. Later, you read that Grimstone has been convicted of a dozen major crimes and sentenced to prison for 199 years. The end. Hey, we did it.
Wow.
Nice job.
See, I went with my gut on that one.
See, I saw the end, but I was trying not to read ahead, and I was like, oh man, it's just going to tell us how we died horribly. Nope, we succeeded.
Too easy.
Ghost Hunter. Well, that was kind of a cool little adventure.
Great way to...
This is not one that you ever read, or
nope.
Had you read any of the other Harlow Thrambe ones?
I have not.
Okay.
I did a couple of those interactive books, but they were like Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
I remember the books on tape one that I did.
Nice.
It was
this was 1986.
Return of the Jedi or something like that.
Was it the official Choose Your Own Adventure one, or was it one of these other brands?
I don't know. It was like in the 90s, so maybe not. I don't know.
Because I've got
a long time ago.
See, in my collection,
it was one where like you had to flip the tape to side 2.
Oh,
it was like probably interactive for children, so probably not. I just remember like.
So it wasn't a book; it was a tape.
No, but you would like. If you're doing this, flip to page 8, or something like that.
It's interesting that they could use that media format to create the adventure. Yeah.
And then you fast forward.
Yeah, fast forward 2 minutes, and then when you hear... I just remember the books, it's like, you will know it is time to turn the page when you hear R2-D2.
Never mind, that's it. It just... I guess I got those confused with this. Yeah, that's what I did. I had those books.
Oh, okay.
So that wasn't the... I don't think I did too many.
It wasn't interactive.
I think I ran into those in the library, but...
Yeah. Well, a lot of these, I would just go to the library and just get a stack of them.
Oh, it's time to turn the page. We hear this sound. Bring your own... Yeah, like the lightsaber sound or something like that. Yeah.
R2-D2. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have the original trilogy. It's from '98, so right around your special edition time.
Yeah, you read that the one where it's like your name is Bubba or something. And
Luke Skywalker's best friend.
Doesn't everybody want to be friends with Luke?
Yep. Luke's long lost brother Jake. Jake Skywalker.
All right. Well,
we got time for another one, or are we gonna wrap this sucker up?
We're gonna wrap because I want to go with you before you leave.
All right.
So
that was a lot of fun.
With that being said, we got to do a book. We got to cover everything that we did. We still didn't make it out till 12 a.m. What an adventure! 3 hours.
RantCast.
Well, for everybody that stayed around, I'd like to thank you for watching the RantCast.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully we'll have, like I said, I'm going to try to work on getting the RantCast set up on its own channel. So either tonight or sometime this week, we're going to build its own channel. It's going to start having links put in the HeroQuest Discord and mine. And then We're going to start working its way up so that we can actually have media content that's shared between us and not just on my channel.
Yeah.
So,
because you worked hard on this, but yeah, we definitely need a central place to do it, and there may be a little bit of growing pains, but I think it'll be the right thing.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And it'll just be good because it'll have its own channel to grow and thrive on, and
so Twitch and YouTube.
We can do different segments and stuff like that too. Yep. So Twitch and YouTube, and we can. Well, I'm going to try to see what it'll take to get us on at least one of the streaming services. That way, for people who are lurking and stuff, if you want to, you can subscribe on like Spotify or Amazon Music or whatever the hell.
Podbean or I don't know what's out there.
But anyway, before the next ad rolls around, I want to say that, and I hope everybody has a good rest of your night/morning. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. We're going to do the Star Wars event. I don't know if you're not joining me for the Star Wars event tomorrow, are you?
I'm going to be busy, but I mean, I'll be at a friend's house. We might be able to turn it on, see how it's going.
Okay.
At least say hi.
But yeah.
Yeah, I hate to miss it, but I'll definitely check out the VOD. I'm sure it'll be great. I've enjoyed the last few that you've done. You covered a lot of ground.
A lot of people are asking me for the Lego games. I'm like, no, can't do the Lego games.
You've done some of those before. You did the Skywalker saga.
Yeah, I'll do the Skywalker saga, but that's the only Lego game I'm doing.
Oh, not doing the complete saga or the.
It's the same thing. To me, it's the same thing.
Well, it's a totally different game. I mean, how much of a puzzle game can you play? Is the thing. Puzzle.
No, well, that and the fact that I just don't have any interest in them, and they're hard to chew through. It's not the fact that they're bad games.
I think they're good in small doses, and like I play a lot of those type of games with my niece. But I mean, she's 8, so.
But if like people really want me to play them, I will download them and we'll get started on them. But like I said, I give the games anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour, possibly longer, depending on what we play. So
I mean, this is your thing, so you do it how you want it.
That's why it's now renamed to the Star Wars Most Games Retrospective.
Every game. I mean,
because I'm cutting out the
sheer number
Clone Wars cartoon games because they were like little kids games.
They made
almost like the Wii game. They're the ones for Wii and the DS titles.
There's a lot more than I thought there were.
So a lot of shovelware,
the AAA titles.
Yeah, and like that's what I'm saying is like the shovelware games. Anybody who actually owned those and enjoyed them, good for you. But like the shovelware titles, I even own some of the shovelware titles. I'm not doing those a lot. So if you have a specific request, put it in the Discord. I'll download it. We'll put it on the segment.
Give it its moment to shine.
Yeah, but if nobody says anything, then I'm just going to go through what I've got. Which was, if I have one port of it for the Game Boy, I'm not doing it for...
So you're still doing the eras, so you've worked your way through the prequel trilogy?
Nope, I've already done the eras. So I did the prequel, the original trilogy, and now I'm just doing the series games and the standalones.
Oh, okay.
And I've already done some of them because I did them along with...
Yeah, because the sequels really don't have anything other than The Force Awakens had a Lego game, so there you go.
It shows you how unpopular they were.
And then it was just DLC and Battlefront, really, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll see Rey in action in Battlefront 2.
Rey! Sorry, I had to do it. Poor John Boyega.
Makes me so sick.
Yeah. Anyway. Not no. RantCast.
Yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a good night, good rest of your day. We'll catch you guys in the next RantCast. That'll be on the
2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now, which will be the 28th or the 27th. So it'll be in the schedule on the Discord. So have a good night, everybody. Take care.